you are one of us. Your passion is the world of mountain biking, from enduro to gravel races and everything in between. This is Insider MTB, the podcast that takes you behind the handlebars, into the dirt, and behind the scenes of the mountain biking world. And now your host, Austin White.
Look at that guy. Finger tats and all right now. What's going on, you guys? I'm Austin White. Spencer couldn't make it for this one. He is deep in it. He is a stunt guy now for a lot of his well, sorry, my brain's a little drained right now, but Spencer's a little bit out for this weekend, so I got a little new co-host, Jay Pleat. We call him JJ, or Jay. He was there
Whatever
for 2 weeks of this shit. Whatever you want to call you. He was helping. He was on the crew, filming, making those sweet videos from all the BMEs going down, helping me, making for sure all the shit was sick. But what's up, Jay?
What's up, guys?
Guys, it's just me right now.
What's up? Well,
I mean, maybe there's
maybe there'll be more people. Who knows?
It's the 650,000 viewers we have right now. I could see it that are
there we go.
Tuning in.
What's up, everybody? Nice to meet you.
All right, so Jay's a little shy over here, but I wanted him on as a co-host this week too, as well. And I've been bugging him a little bit about coming on because he's going to these races each weekend with me. He's seeing the racing, he's seeing it all unfold. So it's kind of like, you kind of know just as much as I am, and you know the battles. And so when we interview some of these riders, I think we could talk, we can hit them with different questions, and they were actually there. So yeah, so we got Jay on, 2 weeks of back east, and now you're home, it looks like.
Yeah,
in good old Seattle. Talk about the airport debacle, what you had to do to just get home,
So I mean, obviously I want to, just like anybody, I want to be home as soon as possible type of thing after a job and stuff like that. So I try to get a late flight home after, shooting all day, doing the races and stuff like that. And I missed the late flight on the way out. So then I tried to get in the super early one in the morning, was swinging at the fences. I doubt I was going to get on that, but I was like, I'm going to try it anyway. The dude, the ticket agent dude, wanted to be really cool that day, and he was like, you can either hang out at the airport all day, or I can get you on this 5:30 flight if you want to do that. So I told him if it didn't cost me any more, I'd do it in a heartbeat, but I didn't, I wasn't expecting to want to do it if I had to pay. And then the guy was like, dude, I'll just get you on the flight. Let's get you home. I don't want you sitting at the airport. And I was like, all right. So he literally, butt crack of dawn, I think I literally had an hour or two of sleep, because I was editing all night that night, trying to finish the edit from Sunday's racing and stuff like that to get to you. It was terrible. You probably noticed you got that thing at 1 a.m.
I did. I was like, damn, dude, he's up. He's working it hard right now.
I had nothing better.
I mean, hey, but the best one, when you told me that story about the McDonald's, because you were bragging it up, you're like, dude, guess what the restaurants they got? And I know one of them, you were like Cinnabon, and you were like, this is what I'm hitting, Cinnabon. Yeah. And and then they were all closed because you got there so late. And then talk about the McDonald's story.
Dude, it's I feel like I get so accustomed to these airports that are international big airports, right? Where even prior to security, I can get food. You don't need to get past. Yeah. There is better food sometimes past security, but I'm trying to I'm I'm going to go get food. And of course, the way this airport is, because it's so small, everything good is past security. So I couldn't get to anything. And there wasn't even a regular, I think the only option was a vending machine. And I was like, oh, this sucks. I literally got dropped off at the airport, and I should have been smart. I should have been like, hey, before we get to the airport, can you go through the drive-through type of thing and just get food then, so I don't have to do it. Of course, I wasn't smart. I wasn't intelligent. So I ended up just disregarding all of that. Get to the airport, and I'm starving. So I decide to literally pay I think it was $11 each way to go a quarter of a mile to a McDonald's to get some food. Because I couldn't DoorDash. They won't deliver any food. Yeah, it was the most expensive McDonald's I've ever had in my entire life. It was absolutely.
What'd you get? Chicken nuggets, double cheeseburger? What'd we hit?
Yeah, I did double cheeseburger.
What does it break down to? Almost at least 50 cents a French fry at that point, you know?
Yeah, I mean, technically, when you break it down that point, I did also, because I knew I was going back to the airport, I did get some chicken nuggets to go. You know what I'm saying? That way, like, because
Doubled
I didn't know
up
how,
already. All right.
well, I didn't know how long I was going to be there, so I had to like kind of prepare
Yeah.
myself for the future.
I don't blame you, dude. Like, it's rough
Yeah.
out there.
Just a terrible, terrible
Sometimes.
experience. Life is so hard.
Hey, but you're here now. You made it
Yeah.
home. You know, you made it home.
Yep.
So
I'm back in the great
I mean, we
Northwest,
had
and weather's
we
good, and I can't complain.
we had a pretty fucking wild adventure though. You flew into Arkansas. I broke the jacks on the motor. We drove straight fucking Michigan overnight. Spent the couple days in this parking lot of the jack
Yeah.
repair place. Repaired the jacks, pinned it, got to Knoxville. Sorry, I'm losing it to Windrock at like 1 a.m. Drove these crazy back road dirt roads to get in, thinking I was like, well, we're just going as far as we can. Can't turn the fucking motorhome around.
Yeah.
But then just all of a sudden we popped out and there was like Windrock right there. It was it was
Dude,
wild for sure.
Pulling into Windrock was
yeah.
extremely scary. It's like midnight, maybe not midnight, maybe it was like 11, but no internet service. And the road is extremely all over the place, like dirt road to concrete to dirt road to blacktop to dirt road. And I'm like, if we get stuck here, we're not turning around. Like, we're just going to be stuck in this spot 100%. I like, at one point, it was like, hey, if we get stuck, you just put the jacks up and we're sleeping in the middle of the fucking road at that point. Like,
hey, but we had new jacks. We were ready to go.
It's true.
Had a full tank of gas, and I was just tow trucking her in there. But yeah, no, it's been and I'm not even home yet. I'm still on the road. I'm literally in the parking lot in New Mexico knocking this sucker out.
So, that's hardcore. That's hardcore.
Yeah, it's fucking hardcore as it gets. Yeah, it's wow. I'm not even, but yeah, so it was also interesting navigating, trying to get everyone to come on, chasing the whole situation down. But we have we got the two winners of the weekend, basically, to come on, of the women's and the men's pro category. And yeah, it was pretty interesting because they also raced just the weekend before, which was total downpour. And obviously, even when we were doing the podcast last week, it was gnarly because we had to stop it in the middle of it because of all this shit.
The weather was not letting up on us whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was following me from Seattle. That's what it was. It was just like, oh, you're traveling east? Like, I'm going to just come with you.
Hey, dude, the hurricane tornado warning or whatever we got, like, we went through some shit there in Michigan for sure. Yeah. Like, yeah, the adventure of back east, and I also want to wonder, like, why in the fuck would you live in a place where there is a fact that a tornado could rip your house to shreds? Like, how do you buy that land, that house, and be like, you know what?
With confidence.
There's a good chance with confidence that this thing could get fucking blown over.
Yeah, but like, that's exactly the reason why those homes over there, like, there's a reason why you can buy that home
so
for $300,000 because you might have to build it again in 3 years. You know, like, I think that's the reality of it.
I don't know, dude. That is not enough of reality for me that I can know that half of my shit will be blown across the United States or wherever the fuck it
there's
lands.
a reason.
Maybe in Canada.
Yeah, we live where we live for a reason because, I mean, granted, if the mountain blows up near me, we're all dead anyway. So it's like, you might as well just wing it. So
yeah, I get it. But it was a wild adventure that, I mean, yeah, we need to start vlogging a little bit more or something because,
dude, it's like a reality TV show. It
was crazy. For sure. You looked over at me and was like, hey, dude, it's getting windy. And I was like, it's not windy. And the next thing you know, you're like, hey, the motorhome totally rocks. Canopies are flipping. You're running out of the motorhome, grabbing the star links. And I'm like, I got to go. Hit the end button.
So true.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of stoked that we fucking lived, knowing there's the next day they all told us, they were like, yeah, the tornado touched down 25 minutes away from here. Dude, and then other ones all around us. And I'm like, what?
The moment we were sitting there and that rain went silent, I 100% thought it was like, yep, this is it. This is like, we're dead. Like, there's no way we're surviving this moment. We're in the eye of the storm right now. It's about to go.
Oh, we were deep eye in the storm. I literally have every tornado movie, Twister, all of them that we've watched. This was that moment when the storm stops and you're like, oh fuck, we're dying. I've never really quite gone gone through something like that. So both of us, total West Coast boys from Arizona that now have moved out, are like, what the fuck just happened here? I've never seen something like this. So yeah, I've never honest, like my heart sank and I was like, well, this was a fucking mistake to come here up to Michigan to get this fixed. I'll fucking find some guy in Knoxville next time and just weld these things on with his blowtorch.
Dude, honestly, after that whole experience, you might as well. Like,
I was like, dude, I mean, that was fucking wild. And just the fact that, like, because like when we live on the West Coast, this is something that was wild, and I was even looking it up today, is the damn the time zones and how you're halfway through a state and the time zone changes. Tennessee does that as well.
Yeah.
And we're like, because out west, it doesn't work that way. It goes on the lines of the state.
100%.
And you're like, this is what it is. And I was like, hey, JJ, check the time. This doesn't seem right. What time are we going to get there? And this and that. And I'm like, we're all fucked up. Like, oh, fuck. That was just, hey, man.
Yeah, no, it was like,
I mean, I'm not home yet.
The state of Indiana is like this big. And then it was like almost all of Indiana was on East Coast. But then there's like this sliver, just like this tiny little sliver that is still technically Central Time, not East Coast time. And then we were going to have to go through there and then up another one that was going to put us back into another like time. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
even when I went to Walmart, to pick up supplies, I went into a different time zone and then back on over to you.
Oh my God.
It was just, yeah. And we were basically an RV capital of the world, not even knowing what a mountain bike looks like, but they knew what motocross was because that was fucking Redbud zone. So,
oh yeah, that was for sure. They understand what 4th of July is out there. No doubt.
They do. So we got our first guest of the evening, Rochelle here. Let's go for this button on the join. Woo! All right. Oh, looking around. What's up, Rochelle?
Hello. I just saw a gopher outside the window.
Nice.
And I
hope
my
they
dog,
not have those?
I hope my dog
don't have
won't
them in
see
Canada.
No, we do.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make sure my dog wouldn't see it.
All right, you guys. Our first guest up this evening is your winner of actually the women's e-bike at Arkansas, and then also the winner of the pro women's class here at last weekend. Sorry, my brain's everywhere. In the pro women's at Windrock for round 2 of the Big Mountain Enduro. So Rochelle, I'm gonna fuck up the last name. Prager.
No, you got it. No,
I did something. I don't know. French people, you guys are just special. Like, I feel like you drink your tea differently or your coffee, and then you just judge us for our
English people. But...
yeah, sorry. Whatever.
No, I don't judge.
Yeah.
You judge me for my English way more than I judge you.
I know your English is a little rough sometimes. It's better than my French. So, cool. Talk to us. Pretty wild. So I've never heard of you. I didn't know who you were, and then you're out there busting women's pro times in the women's e-bike class, and it was kind of the talk of the weekend when we were at Arkansas. And then you had said, well, I didn't really look at the website and didn't know that there was that much money on the line for the women's pro class. And I gave you a little bit of shit for that. I was like, okay. And then you joked, you were like, you joked and you were like, I'm going to show up with a downhill bike at the next one and win in the women's.
I wasn't joking.
Say you were going to win, but I was like, I didn't think you were serious. And you showed up with a dual crown. Talk about this.
Well, I mean, it's not the first time I've raced Windrock Enduro on a dual crown, like on my downhill bike.
Oh, really?
I've done it. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually not new to Enduro. I started as an XC racer 10, 15 years ago. That makes me sound really old.
Okay.
And then I transitioned to Enduro in like 2017 maybe or something like that. I raced some like Enduro World Series, all that. And then I transitioned from Enduro to downhill 4 or 5 years ago. I raced mostly downhill World Cups and stuff. But I still always race a little bit of Enduro. But last year I didn't do much of it. And this year either. I wasn't planning on racing any Enduros, which is also why I don't have an Enduro bike right now. Which is why last week I raced an e-bike. Because I was just like, well, I heard Arkansas was really pedally and like not that good, but
not wrong. I
and
mean,
so I was like,
just be honest, you're not
I
wrong.
kind of want to go.
Yeah.
I don't want to be mean. I was like, I kind of want to go, but I don't really want to pedal my ass off all weekend. So I'll just borrow an e-bike and hang out with my friends because Max was racing e-bikes and all that. So it's like, I'll just have a chill weekend. I didn't
So
really
that
look
wasn't
at
even
like
your own
trail maps or. No, I on the Wednesday night. Well, I made a little post Wednesday afternoon
Looking for a bike.
saying,
got one,
"Hey,
way.
if anybody want to let me borrow an e-bike, I'm kind of thinking of going to Nebo." And I just said that.
No.
And then Sean Leader,
way.
which used to be the owner of Windrock, has like a little it's called Knox Outdoors, and they rent e-bikes to ride like in Baker's Creek near here. And he got off of work at 8 p.m. and he's like, "Oh shoot, I could have let you borrow an e-bike, but is it kind of late now?" And I was like, "Well, I mean," then I counted in my head. I was like, "If you really don't mind, I'll leave home right now, be at your house at like 9:30 p.m., grab the bike, drive halfway there tonight, drive the rest of the morning. I'll practice on an e-bike, so it's chill."
Yeah, it's not
So
hard.
he's like,
It's not
"Sure,
as
sounds like
difficult.
a mission, but if you want to do it." So I left my house at 8:30, drove over there, picked up the bike, left his house at 10 p.m., drove 4.5 hours, and then at least I got an hour, like it's an hour time difference, so I gained an hour. So I drove till 1:45 a.m., slept from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m., then got back on the road and got at Nebo at like 1 p.m., I think. And then rode some stages, got lost a million times, rode some stages. It was super muddy and stuff, but it was super cool.
Yes.
And that was the first time I raced it. I even tried the e-bike. I changed the tires on it, changed the grips, and then put some air in the fork, and was like, that'll be good. And so,
Nice.
so yeah, the next day I practiced some other stages, and then I raced with the boys, and it was a really fun weekend. Honestly, I definitely 100% had more fun on that borrowed e-bike than if I was on a regular bike, because it seemed like a pretty hefty weekend for like regular bikes. So I am happy I rode an e-bike. It was really fun. Did I miss out on some money? Maybe. Shoulda, coulda, woulda,
I would say you
whatever.
100% missed out on some money. But
Well, seeing that your results from Windrock, yeah. I mean,
Well, I'm also a local
but
at Windrock,
still-
so like when I said I was going to
so
race
that was
my
all it was.
Okay.
I mean, not all it was, but it definitely helps because Windrock is really gnarly. Trails are gnarly,
It
and
is.
like they have a lot to it. So like, of course, if you've done them more than a couple times, it helps. And also, I knew that a downhill bike would be like a bit harder on the pedal, on the transfers, but the transfer in Windrock are already kind of like a little shitty. They're like really steep. A lot of people just end up walking parts of it anyways. So I knew that if I just walked my bike without even thinking about it all too much, I'd make it up there. Every time we did the transfer, I made it up there the same time as the people that I was like on the same shuttle with. It's just a little harder on the feet and I guess the lower back because you're just pushing your bike the whole way. But as for the stages, I personally think that most of the stages were very good on a downhill bike. Some spots a bit harder to pedal, but then you make time up on other sections. So I'd do it again.
Do you think
Maybe.
that you would have did better on an enduro bike or worse?
It's hard to say because honestly, some of the stages that I thought I would do best on were not necessarily the ones I did best on, and some of the stages I thought would be more difficult on a downhill bike, I did better. So I don't know. I think it would have been very, very similar, honestly.
It would have worked its way out somehow, right?
I think it would have been.
Well, and then even like when it came to climbing, like I swear every single time I would pass her, she would be pushing her bike and she would be in front of the people that were pedaling on the same exact shuttle. So we're like, I don't think her being able to like pedal up the hill would have been any better. I think it would have been probably worse because she would have had to pedal more than push the bike. And
like
then you
because
just
I
get
had
a
to
little bit more
walk.
bike to go down.
Exactly, because I had to walk. Like I'd make sure that I would like go a little hard the first half of the transfer. Like I'd pedal out of the saddle like for 30 seconds, and then I'd gain like maybe like 15 seconds ahead of everybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
to
you're
make
kind of
sure that I'd
shitting
make
on
the whole
the pro men's class that couldn't even make their transfer times right now. You understand that, right?
Oh, I don't want to get into that. I know this was a
Oh, whoa, hey, too soon.
That's funny.
Wow, here it is.
brand new
Here
to
first,
the
French
BME
Canadians
scene.
coming to fuck
I
you
wanna
up right
stay-
now.
I want to stay friends with everybody.
You want to
so I'm
keep
not-
friends?
Yeah.
And I couldn't even say that it would be maybe you're on some crazy diet because I seen you drinking a high noon with a slushy at the end of the race. So
Yeah, Minute Maid.
like, I don't even know. Yeah, or Minute Maid alcoholic over here. I don't even know, with a chihuahua in your hands. And I was like, what the hell am I witnessing here? Dual crowns chihuahuas, high noons with slushies on the podium. And I was like,
It's not a chihuahua.
And
That's Canadian right
Jack
there for
Russell.
sure.
oh,
She's
it's a mini Jack Russell then.
He's mini Jack Russell.
I mean, that
She's
does make sense.
Yeah, because there was like a real size Jack Russell there
Yeah,
with that kid's.
that one. She's
Yeah,
a
that's
mini.
a mini Jack Russell.
She might have some.
I had two
Chihuahuas,
Jack
to be
Russells
honest.
growing up, and
Oh, and
that's
they
a
were the
mini Jack Russell.
meanest. His
She might
had
have
some
some
mean-
Chihuahua mixed in there.
Is she? So, a little bit rewind back on I had no idea that you even borrowed an e-bike to do Nebo. Did the
Yeah.
person that you borrowed it from, you said the old Windwalk owner, did he not check the weather and knew that you were going to go just mush it through the
Just
mud?
destroy the bike.
I don't know. I think he's a really nice guy, and like he always helps when he can.
Obviously.
And I think he knew that if whatever I wrote it in, I would bring it back in as best condition as I could, and I did.
The best you could.
The best condition, yeah.
Did he know it was gonna be a mud fest? I don't know. Does he know now? I don't know. I tried to clean the bike as much as possible, and I mean, I don't know.
In her defense, we also didn't know it was going to be that difficult either.
Yeah.
Like one moment,
I had no idea that weather.
And then the next moment, it's pouring rain, and then it says the rain's going to be there for 6 hours, and then it ends in an hour.
Yeah.
So clearly,
That's
none
also
of
a
us knew
factor that I
anything.
didn't take into account when I decided to race e-bikes. If I had known it was going to be a mud fest, then I would have pushed a little harder to race pro because I love a
You're
mud
better
fest.
in the mud?
Like when
Really?
on Thursday morning when we headed out for first day of practice here, I was like, hell yeah.
Nice.
And I think that's
JJ and I were like, hell no.
Hell
I know
no,
everybody
no
was like, oh my God,
way.
this is terrifying. I think that Windrock is less scary when it's muddy. And a lot of the locals agree with that. A lot of the non-locals disagree with that. But when it's really, really dry here at Windrock,
Yeah,
it's terrifying because it's like marbles over ice. Like the ground gets so dry with little bit of rocks on top. So it's you have to go so fast because the trails are super hard packed. But then if you crash, it's way more scary. And when it's wet, I crash a little bit more often. But it doesn't hurt. So that's my theory.
I mean, I think it's not.
Yeah,
I think it was
interesting
extremely
theory.
gnarly the way it was. So I would only imagine what it would be when it's dry.
Well, Sunday was very,
JJ
very
and
fun.
on Friday, JJ and I tried to ride stage 6, and we realized we were in way deeper than we fucking expected.
Yes, for sure.
We walked the waterfall section, and JJ seen me. I tried to ride. I
That's a
rode
pretty
half of
gnarly
it.
section.
And okay, thank
be
you,
fair.
thank you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that
To
makes
be
me
fair,
feel a little bit better.
yeah,
You're like going from like a
know.
nice little chute to like a riverbed with rocks.
It's
like
exactly
this
what
big,
it felt like.
and no like
it's
obvious
rough.
line. So no.
For sure.
It was above my pay grade for sure. And JJ seen me swimming at the bottom of it and was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna actually walk this section."
Yeah, and
I
I'm
was
sure
like,
you
"You're
had
making
like a
really
50-pound
good choice."
bag on your back. That's
Yeah, the
Oh,
bags
thank
make
you.
it
You are
scary,
just
for sure.
hype. She is hyping us up. I like it. This is fucking It was rough out there.
Any
You know,
day.
my peanut butter and
My
jelly
bag.
sandwich in the
Yeah.
top, and
Yeah.
My bag was
you know,
hurting.
my bag was hurting. It was actually. Now the poison ivy and oak all over me
Yeah.
is still hurting.
Mm.
But yeah, yeah. So look, you won 4 stages in a row on that downhill bike. That's pretty gnarly. I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm still a little bit new to mountain bike. Like I'm maybe like at my 7th year of this stuff, but to just kind of see that is
fairly new.
pretty
Just 7
wild.
years.
Like 7 years. Well, I mean, like actually carrying maybe 3. How about that? 7 years of riding a mountain bike, 3
Yeah.
like actually like, oh wow, look at this person who's Richie
Mhm.
Rude, you know?
For sure.
But so maybe it's more than that. I don't know. Whatever the case was, seeing a dual crown go out there and kick that type of ass was pretty fucking wild. Like, but now hearing it from your side, you're like, oh, it's nothing but a thing, you know? Like I shrugged it off.
I mean,
Me
it
and
is
JJ?
also a small downhill bike.
Fuck
It's
no.
very light. It's very short. It's not that far off of a
Look at you
1.8.
just selling it right now.
Seriously.
Oh my God, that's what I'm paid
Everyone
for.
go buy a Santa
What do you
Cruz, by the
mean?
way. Just say it.
Yes, Santa Cruz V10. I think it was even a few years old. Like what?
I actually bought that bike,
No,
so I'm
I'm-
not even paid to say that. I purchased that frame with my money, but
I mean,
because I
I've
knew
ridden
that
one
it would be
before,
the
and they
best
are pretty
bike.
good. I'm not gonna lie, but whatever.
Wow, I've never ridden one. I don't know. I don't need a downhill bike because I don't ride downhill.
You ride
Well,
XC for
But
sure.
yeah, I mean,
I think maybe that's why you guys are more impressed by the fact that it's a dual crown because it sounds so dramatic. And everybody this weekend was like, "Oh my God."
because it can't
I
turn
thought
that
I was
great.
scared people
maybe?
would
Yeah.
think the opposite, like, "Oh, she's cheating, she's riding a downhill bike." But to everybody it was the opposite, like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe you're pushing your bike up."
Yeah,
It
I think it's
really
the
wasn't.
climbing. I think the climbing is what made people feel that way. But again, like what I was saying earlier, like you pushed it up the hills
Yeah,
faster than these
it's
people were
really not
climbing
that.
anyway. So if you can just push it up the hill and then go down
Yeah.
on
And you
dual
just
crown,
gotta
like,
push it
all
up the
day.
hill. You just gotta go at it one transfer at a time. Like at the beginning of the weekend, if I thought like, oh, I gotta push it all the way up 8 times or 7 times, then yeah, it sounds
Yeah, it sounds
horrible.
terrible.
But first day, it's just like, oh, first day of practice, I gotta push it up twice. Second day, oh, I only push it up once today. Then first day of race, oh, I only push it up twice today. Then Sunday, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
just one more
just get
time.
through it.
Easy, just bring a couple snacks.
Yeah, so I ride
Yeah.
e-bikes.
Yeah.
No. Hey, so then on day 2, were you I mean, you had a minute lead, maybe almost 2-ish. Were you just cruising on day 2 or
a little bit,
just
like
maintaining?
a little bit, because like honestly, the first stage is I think where I made most of my time, which is crazy because as I was riding, I was like, oh man, I really blew it first stage and I'm blowing it because I crashed twice, then had to pass
You were
2 people.
almost 30 seconds faster on stage 1.
Yeah,
Jesus.
which
You crashed twice?
yeah.
What?
But my first crash is because Rob was up there, not far from the top, with like one of these big
Yeah, the horns.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I get easily distracted and on the bike, off the bike, all of it, and I just heard the horn and I went straight into a tree and I was like, oh, oops. It wasn't.
So it was the horn's fault. The horn's fault.
Yeah, it was Rob's fault.
Not the rider.
I'm gonna ask for a
100%.
refund. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't the horn's fault.
She's
It
never
was my
seen this
fault.
much of a fan crowd, you know?
But anyways,
Okay, so
yeah,
then did
2
you say
little
you passed
crashes.
2 riders? Like
Yeah,
2 little crashes? Okay, so but you said you passed 2 riders back? Or no,
yeah.
that was a joke.
2 little crashes,
And
and then
I misheard that.
riders that went 30 seconds in front of me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you no fucking way right now. What the
So they had to
fuck?
have been, because
This
when
is-
you dropped, there had to have been like 2 other pro women, right?
Yeah, there's 3 in front of me,
Yeah.
or 4 in front of me, and then Kara, Portia, and
Behind you. Yeah.
Bella
So you had
behind
to have either passed the like 2 of those other pro women, or it would have been like one of the pro men that fell, maybe. But
No,
like
it's two of the pro women that like started like 30 seconds before me.
30
Yeah, there
seconds
was 2 that
before me,
started.
still passed him. Holy shit.
It was the first stage, honestly, was probably one of the gnarliest.
This is even
ones, and
making the
it's still
story
wet.
crazier right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, yeah,
Michelle,
and then
like what the fuck?
yeah, second
I had
day
no
I tried
idea
to
on
take
this.
it a bit easier. Second day I tried to take it. I was like, I have a good lead. I know the stages well. There also second day was a bit more bike park, so like I was just like, there's no point in crashing or breaking something because there's a lot of stuff you could break at Windrock, like wheels, tires, levers, like Porsche broke or brake
Yeah,
lever
her
on the
lever,
first lap.
right.
Like then that was sad. That's a big bummer because Porsche's a good.
I mean,
Yeah. She was
I'll
down
say
pretty hard
this.
after that first one, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think
5 minutes.
personally, I think the fact that you showed up to Nebo, and whether you raced it in pro women or not, but the fact that you should have taken all their money and you showed up to Windrock and took more of their money, I think is so rad. I think it's like the coolest thing. The downside is you can't win the overall because you didn't race the first round. But I would hope that
No,
you would
she
try
can
to
still
just
win
take-
the over.
No,
it's
there's
not.
a new rule.
It doesn't work. I mean,
you can miss one?
yeah,
There's a
no,
new rule.
it's
I read.
you can miss as many as you want.
No, they
but
put a
you
new
can't.
rule.
Last year you could throw. Well, you could throw away a round last year. There's no
I know, but I
throwaway
didn't
rounds.
take
That's
it,
the better
yeah.
way to say it. Does that make sense?
Oh, there's no throwaway.
so you
There's
can
no
still win.
throwaway.
Okay, I see.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So, like, I mean, if you get enough points, I mean, in realistic terms, you're only down 25 points.
Yeah.
Because that's the
and
most
points,
you can collect.
how far?
So it's not like you're down.
Do people get points? Like, is it
Well,
top 5 get points or top 8?
We go all the way to 25th, I believe, gets points.
Yeah, 25 would get 1 point.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But luckily for you, I mean, that's the toughest part, right? Like, you really just need to, if you want to go to the next couple rounds, you need to start bringing some other pro women with you and having them push the other pro women down so you can
100%.
start gain. Yeah, like,
Ooh.
yeah. So, like,
But
maybe
saying,
when you're
I would
out
be
there,
trying to
you know,
take
you're
all
like
the money I
recruiting
could.
more women to race that pro class.
Yeah, but then they could also it also makes my life harder though.
I don't know. You crashed
Based on
twice,
how
passed two, and one.
But it was my
and you
local
still won that
mountain.
stage by
It was
30
my local
seconds.
mountain. I ride here all year.
I know, but even your e-bike times were pretty dang good in the
But
pro.
it was a Mudfest.
Yeah, I know you were
And it was an
comparing them.
e-bike.
Okay, so let's just see what you can do on the West Coast then. You know, I don't know what to say.
I'm not gonna lie. I've changed my schedule a little bit, and I might go for more rounds.
You gotta get that money.
And you, how far off were you from winning in the downhill women's class pro? You got some money in there as well.
Look at times. Yeah, I got second behind a very, very fast Kaylee Skelton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually didn't look at the times. I didn't have time, dude.
I mean, you really did
heavy weekend.
You was a big weekend. You walked all this downhill bike, and then you even raced because other athletes were like, no, that's just too much energy. And you were like, oh man, I didn't even drink my Red Bulls today and I still feel good. You know, it was
like Saturday after racing all 3 races, stages in the morning, I just went and changed my kit to a dry kit because we were muddy. And I had like a quarter of an acai bowl from the little food truck. And then I was like, well, guess I'm going to do dyno practice. Now then we did 4 laps of dyno practice, seating.
What?
Oh, that was Friday.
4?
And then, I had to do some laps because the track for dyno, although like it is a track that I've ridden a few times before, there were some changes and stuff. And the first half was like actually like fairly gnarly, like no like smooth lines. You just had to like really fight it. So I had to do like 4 extra laps Friday and Saturday to do decent. And I'm pretty happy because my race run was actually a good run, which I'm happy because I was pretty smoked by 4 p.m. on Saturday.
I believe it. The fact that you finished racing on the first stage
felt
and you
like
just blew
seen
everyone's doors off, and then you had to go race downhill is commendable. It's gnarly.
Yeah, I'm glad it turned out well because I have this tendency to go for quantity over quality. Yeah. And every season I say, this year I'm going to race less and I'm going to do better. And every year I just end up racing every weekend. Just like I went to Nebo last weekend. That was not part of the plan. It was supposed to be a chill week or whatever. And then I'm like, 2 days before the event, I'm like, I'm just going to go. And I do that every year. But I think now I'm just going to embrace it and be like, I race every week.
You're like your dog, a Jack Russell.
Yeah.
You see squirrel and it's like,
their owners.
All the time.
Yeah.
Wow. This story thickens every time I feel like I get a minute to talk to you. I'm like, and I'm blown away by it. Honestly, I'm JJ is probably in the same page on this, but like I was smoked from riding my e-bike around shooting, and you're out here just fucking murking everyone around the shit. Wow. What is the diet besides the high noon and slushies? Like, I guess, and then I seen Miller Lite. I was a little bit confused. I'm like, what?
I don't drink. This is the one time I drink like whatever. But yeah, I did have a high noon and 2 slushies actually.
2 slushies. Yeah, you were mixing something
afternoon, up. And I pushed my bike up 8 times, so I had 2 slushies.
And
1 high noon.
It looked like it was well earned.
So
for sure,
it was well earned.
What is
the
diet? Well, I go by the 80-20 rule. I do have a lot of traits, and like if you see me around, I'm always trying to share chocolate.
What's the 80-20?
80-20, the diet 80-20. Like you eat good 80, eat
And then
bad
you
20.
snack and you get sweet treats the other 20%.
Yeah.
That's
Although
all.
I'm saying
I mean,
80-20,
Austin,
but
you're probably the same thing. If not, you
it's
might
probably
be like
60-40.
50-50.
Except for I'm like the other way. I'm more like 20 of the good and then 80 of the bad.
Yeah, I'm like,
and I know you're
I'm
at the
probably
100%,
60-40.
JJ.
Yeah, I'm 100%
60-40.
terrible
Now you
all the
switch.
time, 0%
Yes.
healthy ever.
Yay.
Yes. Yes.
No,
Wow.
Yeah.
well, no, I'm like 80%, no, 60% fruits, honestly.
50%, 40%, 30%.
And she's all over the place. I
Yeah,
love that I literally said that jokingly and she didn't get it. And she was like, well, actually. And I was like,
I'm also a
oh.
vegetarian, so that's if that's
Oh,
There's the
okay.
diet.
That's
the
why
diet
you had a
then.
slush. Yeah.
And people think it's so
Oh,
crazy that
wow.
I'm vegetarian. I don't really care about protein, and somehow I'm surviving. So
Something else.
I'm the plot thickens, you know?
like on
I'm
Sunday
blown
morning before
away.
going out to finish this Enduro, I had 2 Eggo waffles and yogurt and strawberry.
That doesn't
That's
count.
all I need.
That shouldn't be like the
that's the
vegetarian.
definition of
That's
like
a little bit weird.
60-40.
I mean, I get it. You're
What do you mean?
it's more than 60-40. You ever looked at those on those Eggo waffles?
Yeah, but wait, if you're going out to Enduro and you need some calories, you just because like it's 7 a.m. You're trying to go out there. I don't like eating breakfast at 7 a.m. So I'm just gonna eat something that'll be able to eat. So that is Sunday. It was an Eggo waffle, 2 Eggo waffles.
Whatever.
But I dipped them
You
in
have the
Greek
diet
yogurt
of
with fresh strawberries. So
You have the
There you
diet
go.
of Austin's 2-year-old.
Yeah, or of my 4-year-old. You have the diet of my 4-year-old. 100%.
I would
right now.
actually not deny that because I bet that every plate I make probably looks like a 7-year-old, 4-year-old's plate.
So good.
But
And I'm just now it explains why you have so much energy. Wow.
exactly.
All right. So you were talking about you changing your schedule. Does that mean more BMEs, money? What's up?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy because this year I was like, I'm not racing enduro, and I don't know why I was so like no enduros. Last year I raced I think 2 enduros, Tennessee National and the NAEC at Silver, and then this year I was like, no, I'm not racing enduro. I sold my enduro bike. I didn't plan on buying one. I was gonna buy an XC bike. Why?
Yeah,
I don't know.
XC bike just doesn't seem to make any sense for someone like
I
you.
just
don't
felt
know why.
it's just fun to. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I wanted to wear spandex like the good old days and just cruise around. And
Austin wants to do the same thing. That's why he rides him.
You're talking about JJ right here.
Not
Definition
even
of
close.
XC
Not
rider.
even close.
Insane.
So far from
I'm
it.
blown. What? So what's up? What are we hearing then? You're going to your local shop buying an enduro bike. We're hitting Facebook Marketplace. What's going on here?
I'm gonna go to my local shop and buy probably a Bronson. I'm trying to decide between. Oh, actually, maybe you guys can help me. Maybe maybe the people of YouTube can help me in the comments. I'm thinking either a Bronson or a Nomad. What really the question is, should I go 170 travel or 160 150 for the remainder of the BMEs?
You seem to be good at a lot of travel, so I don't think it's
I know,
slowing you
which is
down.
crazy because I'm tempted to go
on
on a smaller travel trail bike just because they're more fun to pedal. But I guess maybe I should just stick to.
I feel like you should just do a big bike the way you want to ride some of those trails. Like and let's be honest, you pushed up a dual crown anyway, so who gives a shit about the climbing?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like who cares how the bike climbs,
is going to change the difference.
I don't know. I have to do some research on what the other trails look like. Because, like for example, a Nebo, like probably would have preferred the smaller travel trail.
I feel like Sunrise
so much pedaling
and
in the stages.
What is it? Sunrise, Angel Fire, Tamarack. I feel like that you could get a big bike and get away with it, but I haven't spent a ton of time riding it to know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin would have a better idea, at least for Sunrise.
I would say Sunrise. I don't know, because like those backcountry stages, even though they're like, I would say gnarly, but they're fucking, when you're at the end of it, want the travel because you've just done a 15-minute run and you're just like, fuck, I need,
Yeah, your hands just get annihilated.
I don't know. Everyone has their way of looking at it, but yeah, your hands are annihilated. But Sunrise, I mean, they're all proper from here on out. I would say Brian Head's probably the fucking the burliest one just because of the
Brian
rocks and some of
I
those
feel like you
sections.
want
But I
the
mean,
more the
no,
merrier.
yeah.
That's another problem. I don't know
Yeah.
if I could make it to Brian Head, which is the finals
Oh,
week.
then there we go.
Yeah, for final. Well, it was the final for DH.
No. Oh,
Oh, is it not the final
DH.
for the real thing?
Is it?
The big thing?
no, DH finals somewhere else, I believe.
I
I
thought
gotta
DH
think about
final
it.
was in
I should-
Brian Head, and then the final is obviously in Idaho and Tamarack.
No, that's youth
Oh.
enduro. Youth enduro is at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Youth
yeah,
enduro
Tamarack, I
ends
think,
there.
is the
Yeah.
final for DH.
Tamarack. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And-
Okay.
Or you
I don't
can't
know, I
make
think-
Tamarack, or which one is it?
I think I can't make Brian Head because it's the same weekend as Canadian Downhill Nationals, if I am not mistaken. So, well, I guess it would depend.
Damn Canadians, you
It's
know.
always the syrup people. I swear.
I guess it would depend.
Yeah,
I guess I'll
syrup
see
people.
then if I want to go enduro or downhill, how the overall would be shaping up, how this and that.
She's like, when I'm just winning money and inching up on that
Seriously.
points lead, she's
No,
like,
I don't
yeah,
want to
like, I'm
jinx
an
it all.
enduro
It's like,
racer.
I'm just yeah. I'm just gonna
You
go
just
out
wanna
and
ride
have
your
fun. I
bike.
had
We
fun
get
this
it.
weekend. It's a good
Yeah.
scene. There's a bit of drama here and there. It's pretty funny.
Well, yeah, and when
Drama.
you're not in the drama, it's the best
Exactly.
part, right?
Yeah, that's exactly why I liked it.
Yeah.
There's some drama, but I'm not part of it, so you're just
Yeah,
out here hearing every side of the drama, giggling a little, meddling in,
I agree.
trying to steer shit up.
Meddling
No.
in, throwing a little bit of gas on the fire, taking their money, walking away, and just saying,
So-
"Have a good weekend."
Oh yeah. They're like, we're not gonna see her again. We don't give a shit. And then now you're like, maybe you will. So you might not have as many girlfriends from this one after this, you know?
No, but
Coming
I
in
know
here just shaking
the
it
crazy
up.
part is that I know all the girls. I know I've known Portia for a while, and Kara same. Like I've raced them for a few
Yeah,
years. Just
but
I haven't
Now
just
you're over here
raced them.
taking the
It
money.
changes.
It
changes
might
when you're taking
change.
their
It
money,
might
You know what I'm
change.
saying?
Yeah.
Maybe it just would change for
I'm
us.
just saying,
but
you're
I
over
feel
here
like
stirring
makes
it up.
sense.
No, the
That's
next
gonna be the word
rounds
at the
will
next
be
one.
a fair battle because it's not gonna be a local. I've never been to any of these places. I think I've never been to Sunrise. I've been to Tamarack, but just to race downhill. So I've only ever raced one trail, which I would probably not race in the enduro. I'm assuming so. And I've never been to
Maybe
Angel
you just
Fire
get that
either.
XC bike and you show up on that XC bike.
Race
and-
the XC
Yeah,
bike,
maybe
there
I
you go.
try.
that.
I try all the bikes.
That'd be the most disrespectful thing
Yeah,
you could ever do to any of them.
No, I honestly think
You
racing
win on
an
an
XC
XC
bike
bike.
would just be.
If you were to win on an XC
miserable.
bike, we'd have to change the name to like the Rochelle Enduro Series or something at that point. Because
I think if there's a one to race on an XC bike, probably would have been Nebo.
Yeah, you're
Honestly,
probably
you
right.
might be
Stage
seeing
3,
your
6,
van
and
tires
7.
slashed if you win on that.
Just
Oh
pop the
no,
tire.
they're
I'm just
brand
saying,
new.
you know,
They're
they'd be like-
expensive. Please slash something else.
So
I'd like
that's
that.
the other side of
tires.
it. You're also living out of a van as well.
Yeah, well, right now I'm in a house for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I see that.
But yeah, I pretty much live out of my van. And again, every year I say quality over quantity. I'm not going to live in my van. I'm going to travel less. But then every year I come to Tennessee and I say, I'm going to go to Tennessee just for a couple weeks. And then I stay a couple months and then 3 months and then 4 months. And then I stay here.
Holy shit.
Or I base out of
Someone's
here and then
gonna
I go
be-
places and I come back. And I'm Canadian. I don't have a visa.
Oh,
so
so
that
what
is
we're
also-
hearing is,
Ah,
oh
Hopefully
wow, it's over.
ICE
That's
isn't
what they're gonna
watching
get you
this.
on. You just fucked up
Yeah.
and announced that on here. Yeah. All of our 7,000 million viewers are just fucking calling
just
them.
going
Well,
straight
they
to
can
the
either
computer
right now.
report me or they can help me get a visa. And marriage is not an
Oh,
option.
wow.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was
It's
like, 'cause
not-
I feel like
Okay.
No,
I mean,
that's
Well, then that leads me
that's-
into my. That leads it
urban
in.
legend.
I mean, there is marriage options if they're like with the OnlyFans account, correct? Is
like
that
the super high subscriber one, possibly.
yeah, super
Ye-
high subscribers? If you can go to your OnlyFans, yeah. Talk about the OnlyFans
Yes,
thing.
I do have an OnlyFans. It's part of my sponsorship. No, there's no nudes on there. There's nothing crazy on there. I post the training updates, what I eat, travel stuff. But
Oh,
yeah,
So now we'll know the
if you
food,
get
the
an
whole
off-
program.
yeah. I mean, the bike industry, I'm sure a lot of is a little difficult right now to get like money or like proper support. Especially when you're like me and you just do a bunch of random races and you do a bunch of stuff, which is cool, but it's a little harder to like, I guess, get support. And these last couple of years, especially since COVID, it's been super hard to get like financial sponsors. So when there's out of industry sponsors that try to support, honestly, it's hard to say no. And with OnlyFans, there's really good sponsorship opportunity, and I couldn't say no.
Well, I mean, it's not really. It's similar to.
I mean,
how, like,
honestly, JJ and I both got offered it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We have OnlyFans accounts at this point, right?
No
Yeah, we're famous on there. You didn't know our usernames? I'm selling feet pics like it's fucking going out of style, you know? I mean, shit.
I mean, people on Instagram sell their subscriptions or whatever. Like Spencer on the,
it's the
Spencer
same thing,
sell? Like, it's the same thing. It's just how it is. It's
how like it has a really bad.
Oh, we're not knocking it.
Oh no,
we're not
no,
I'm fine talking about it. It has a bad rep, and that is why they're trying to sponsor athletes. Well, to try to show that it's at the end of the day, it's a platform. Like there's some crazy stuff on Instagram nowadays, and there's some crazy stuff on OnlyFans. But it's up to the users and followers.
Yeah, Austin, don't they have? Isn't there's a Supercross guy? I forget who his name is.
Yeah, Logan Cornow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has. He has like.
But isn't his? Yeah, but isn't like but he was going and getting sponsorships by chicks that were just like.
Yeah, he was doing this like trade. Yeah, he was doing this trade with chicks that do.
I think one of them's like his chick too, or whatever. Like she has dirty stuff on there. I don't know. I
don't know enough.
Was trying to figure it out. I wasn't. It was like it was great because, and he said he was getting like 10 grand to like run her OnlyFans account on the side of it. So maybe you should think of that. You're gonna run dudes' OnlyFans accounts on the side of yours. It's just sponsorship. Hit them up, you know. Rochelle, she's open for sponsorship. You know,
make a lot of money. To be fair.
Yeah, because nobody wants.
Yeah, they don't probably. No one wants to see us.
I'm getting paid by OnlyFans. The corporation or whatever.
Yeah. Not like the you're trying to say like you get paid from them to also use the account, like use your account. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, did I?
And so no Santa Cruz, no bike sponsor, but do you have Fox suspension sponsor? Because I seen you had the gold.
You have the gold flag.
Yeah, Fox suspension, Maxxis tires, Novatec wheels, Chromag cockpits. The frame I purchased, but only just the frame.
Oh, that's cool.
You're just waiting for a frame sponsor is what we're hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. When the OnlyFans, when I started not working with OnlyFans, but like when it was in the works before the whole thing came like public in February, I was like, should I disclose that I will be sponsored by OnlyFans to my current sponsors, or should I not? Because technically, like, I don't have to, because it's not like it wasn't a like competitor to anybody, but I still decided to disclose it just because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was super stressed out about the OnlyFans deal before it came public, because I know it's controversial and I knew some people would be like, take the money, run with it, but some people are like, you don't bring that into the bike world, stuff like that. So I was nervous, but I still decided to disclose it to my sponsors because I didn't want to get into problems down the line. So I'd rather tell them now. If they dump me and I move on. And that's what happened with the frame stuff. And then it was kind of hard to get new sponsors saying, I will be sponsored by OnlyFans. Do you also want to sponsor me? Just because it wasn't on the table, it was hard for them to like try to guess if it was going to go positive or negative and how it was going to go. So then I kind of just stopped trying. I was like, I'll wait for that to be public and not have to disclose it as a future scary thing, and just have it like, now that it's out in the open, it's not a problem anymore. But it is too
now
late
that you're
to get
winning
a
too, you got to think you would think people would start to reach out to you, seeing the success, and then now seeing
but in the
results.
For bike sponsorship, like it's really hard to do anything past like January, because they have the budgets are all done in like November, and then it's a bit harder. Also, like we're like in the thick of the season, so I'm not really trying to do deals and stuff, because it's
change things up and stuff.
But you'll do it if there was a brand.
Yeah,
you're
there was a
open
bike
But I
for a
mean, yeah,
frame
for
sponsor.
sure, I'm open. I'm not gonna be like
Yeah,
see
she's
an
open.
email and be like, nah. See you
Yeah.
next
Nah.
year. No, for
If
sure.
Santa
I'm,
Cruz
for
hit
sure, I'm
you up
open
and
to
was
it.
like, "Hey,
No,
we'll
for
give you a
sure.
Bronson,
Yeah.
we'll give you a V10, we'll give you a Blur," you'd be like, "I guess we could talk." You know what
For
I'm
sure,
saying?
I'm open to sponsorship. That's not, but yeah, for now, I mean,
There was some dude showed up at I think at 2 of the rounds last year on an e-bike, and he was sponsored by OnlyFans as well.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
I've seen it as
was
sponsors, and
it
it does.
the other two guys that are sponsored? There's Lewis Buchanan and Stefan Garlicki.
I don't know. Maybe this guy maybe he had an OnlyFans account. I don't
Yeah.
know, but he had OnlyFans, and he was like on a Ducati e-bike, I believe. I don't know.
Maybe he's just a big fan.
He showed
of
up and
OnlyFans
did-
and put it on his bike. I don't know.
He had it on
It
jersey
could
and
have been
shit. I
Lewis
don't know.
Buchanan. I'm not
I
sure
think he-
100%, but he used to race enduros.
Well, it wasn't. This guy wasn't in the pro or anything. No, I know
Oh.
who Lewis is, but yeah, no, it wasn't him. No,
It's just
it
a
was.
Joe
It was
Schmo
just.
with
It was
a
like the guy
OnlyFans,
was
I
like in the
guess.
vet class. Yeah,
Oh.
maybe he's selling feet pics. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say no if OnlyFans hit up Insider MTB right now and was like, "Yo, we want to be your sponsor." I'd be like, "Shit,
Yeah.
give me an
Yeah.
account."
They
know?
ain't hitting you up for anything, buddy.
JJ's like, "I couldn't be on here." I mean, well, yeah, maybe we have a pretty, whatever. But that does suck that you lost your frame sponsorship over it because fucking.
Well, it
I mean,
sucked,
that's kind of a
but
big thing. I feel like you need
yeah, but at
those,
the
right?
same
But
time,
yeah.
then I got to go and purchase my dream bike.
Yeah, whatever frame you want, right? At
Oh.
that point.
So
I guess I need to go back and look on your Instagram and see who this sponsor was.
Yeah, I
I
want to
don't
know
blow
who
him
it
out
is.
right
That's
now.
really
but
what I want to know.
yeah, whoa, hey, not to put you on the spot right now, but like JJ gets the phone out real quick. Wow, now we know. So Santa Cruz is the choice, but you're open to anything. You're like, look, if fucking Huffy hit you up right now, you need to race
no,
this
I'm not
thing,
open to
and you
anything.
can put your
anything.
shit on it. We're good to go. Whoa, not anything. Oh, wow, now we're picky.
Well, not anything.
I mean, wow.
Well,
Not Huffy, not Diamondback, not
Walmart
branded
everything has
Costco bike. Oh, okay.
Interesting.
JJ knows now. You want to just say it, or we know? We
No,
don't want to get you in trouble.
I was riding for Propane North America, and to be
Yeah.
fair, the Propane North America guys were
Yeah, but aren't they
super.
gone now, anyways?
They were not gone out of where.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
didn't Propane went out of business in North America?
Was it
right?
Propane or was it
not?
another?
that was
I think it might have
Nuke
been
Proof.
another company.
That was
Yeah, I think it's
Nuke
Proof.
Proof? Yeah.
No, Propane's still out there, and their
Mm.
bikes are good and all that. It was just the downhill bike was a little bit big for me. I'm really short. I'm 5'2", so it's always a little bit hard to find a downhill race bike that fits me well, and that is also a good race bike. And with Propane, that was a little bit of a problem. And there's little things that but like with Santa Cruz is you can't like argue that it's not one of the best bikes in the planet.
Yeah, it wins
Like,
races.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Why did
on top
someone
of being
win on it or something? Or?
I guess
some
so.
guy like I don't know some Canadian
Who's
dude, I think.
But he's not 5'2".
Jackson Goldstone's not
Well,
5'2", but he's pretty small.
No, I was talking about Greg Menard, but
Oh no, he's definitely not 5'2". He's definitely the other end.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no,
but no, that's what I was gonna say. They have a great bike, and they made it even better since last year. And they run a lot of sizes.
since you bought
They
the
go
frame, it got better.
Yeah, yeah, they run from a size small to a size extra large. So like,
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
assume you have to
That's-
get the smallest one.
yeah.
Well,
Did Propane
Hey,
did
it's-
Propane go down to a size small?
No, their smallest size is a medium, and it's a pretty
Okay.
big medium. So
Yeah,
oh really?
makes sense.
Okay.
yeah,
That makes sense.
so that was. But I mean, a big bike has they all have pros and cons. A smaller frame has pros and cons. and a big
Someone's
frame-
probably watching this from Propane and just being like, "Oh my god, we
they're
get
pissed.
fucked up. They're
Like,
fucked up."
Fuck
You
that
know?
guy. I hate that guy. He had to bring us
Ugh.
up.
I know. Hey, we want to know the dirt. We're just finding out the info over. I mean, you're kind of a black hole. I'm blown away by this. I just, I've done BMEs for the last couple of years, and I just haven't seen
Yeah.
something like this just happen. Like the women's class usually is, there's
It's
5 of them, and they go at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of predictable. Like not that that's wrong. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but like to see this, it's like, what the fuck's going on around here, you know? So
Well, that's
we're just
that's
getting
why I
the
said
full
the fact
story
that
over here.
the fact that she just showed up and started taking the money that all these people expect to have every week
Oh,
in their
fuck.
bank accounts. I just think it's so rad. Like that's the coolest part about it.
Ooh.
I mean, money is rad, that is for sure.
She's
Now
like,
my thing
"Sponsor
is, go
me."
buy an enduro bike, and then we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
Hey, all right. Well, shit, maybe we need to have you like, yeah, I guess you're going to Sunrise, possibly somewhere it's in there. If you get that enduro bike, I don't know, right? You're gonna for sure get an enduro bike, or will there be a chance of you actually, if you don't get one, you're just gonna show up on that downhill bike and make it work?
No, that was a Windrock type thing. I can't say
Okay.
that I wouldn't do it
Okay.
again last year if we come back to Windrock, but I don't think I would do it. It's because like I knew exactly what I was getting myself into racing my dyno bike. Like I knew
Yeah.
exactly what to expect. I knew how long the transfer was. How I knew exactly what it would be like. So like it wasn't like I wasn't like guessing. I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. No, and I
And
feel
I
like
knew
that makes sense because like thinking about some of those other rounds, like, dude, you can't push your bike on those transfer
yeah,
stages.
exactly. Like
You have to
I didn't
pedal
have a bike
on a lot
last
of that
week for
stuff.
Nebo, and I wouldn't have guessed and be like, oh, I'll just try
Yeah.
to do it on my dyno bike. Like I wouldn't
Yeah, that
I
would've
wouldn't
been
just show up somewhere random,
100%.
unprepared or like
there's
well,
a proper transfer stage for Sunrise. So yeah,
Yeah, the downhill bike
pretty
would be
proper
brutal.
one. And you're at 9,000 feet, and yeah, it's like having a heart attack. So just a little side note, you know, we'll do what
yeah.
you
I
want to
also
do with that.
realized just like a couple days ago, I was like, oh wait, that's altitude. Oh, that's fun.
It's tough. It's weird that because me and JJ are both from Arizona, and it's fucking desert. And this is my last year was my first time going to Sunrise, and it's like you like pass through this weird little part, and you're like, boom, pine trees, boom, mountains, boom, great weather, and then boom, I can't breathe because it's fucking high altitude.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
So yeah, it's pretty weird. Yeah, but
Is
I
there
feel
chances that it'll
like,
be
I don't know.
muddy?
It's hard to tell this far out, probably.
Arizona doesn't rain.
But they do but
Yeah.
like up there they get showers like a little bit more often just because
Random
of the
showers,
elevation. Yeah, but it's usually not like downpours. Like I don't think you're gonna get much like what we had in Nebo in Tennessee, I would think. But
Yeah.
She's like wanting it to downpour.
Yeah.
You never
She's
know.
doing
You never know.
rain dances outside of her van.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, the people at
So,
Sunrise probably have a dance
she's
for you
burning
to do.
sage. They do actually.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah.
Oh, we'll
Cool.
see. But
Well,
I'm for sure buying that.
stoked to get you on here.
Thank you. Anytime.
Okay. Well.
Oh yeah, I got plenty more to say. So don't
war stories. I think next time we have you on is we maybe ask XC stuff because I didn't really know that you were an XC rider as well, or pre-XC. I guess we'll get the full history maybe or something. The down low.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If anyone looking you up, you want to blast your Instagram so they can follow you and be a part of it.
Yep, at Shell Pageau, Pageau. It's very French.
Very French.
Since I butchered it. Sorry, guys. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for hitting it up. We'll see you at Sunrise then.
Thank you.
Yep.
See you in a month.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later.
Boop. Boop.
Boom.
I guess we'll still see.
Oh, make for sure you don't close the app either. Do not close the app. We need you to keep the upload going. Let me actually text her that real quick right now. Don't close
before
the
she
app.
forgets.
Yeah, don't close the app. Keep the upload going. Cool. So yeah, look, like, fuck, the story thickens with that whole situation. It's fucking wild. I'm honestly blown away right now. To hear that shit.
I can't even.
Me and you out there dying on e-bikes and shit.
No, and I saw her
Wow.
like I think it was like the first day of racing. That was when I like first saw her pushing that bike up the hill, and I was like, damn. And like literally all the pro women like just got off back there and they were still pedaling, and she was like probably like 100 yards ahead of them pushing. I was like, damn, like you like you're pushing this bike faster than they're pedaling the bike. And I do think like at the time when we got up to the top of the stage, I think she literally got up there like around the same exact time just pushing the bike, which is like, dude, I couldn't imagine.
Gnarly.
I didn't even like climbing that stage on an e-bike. I couldn't imagine having to push a front door up. I don't know.
Yeah, so next guest, Nick Nestoroff, he's here. Let's bring him on in.
Brother.
Ooh, look at Nick over
going
here
on,
with that
guys?
fresh shaved head.
Over here with that fresh shaved
What?
head.
How's it going?
What?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, he has his echo
Oh no,
thing
he
on.
has his echo thing on.
Am I echoing?
Nick, you're gonna have to
Nick, you're gonna have to
you're gonna have to
Yeah, you're gonna have to rejoin.
Okay, one sec.
Yep. We're just running it over here. You know, we're loose program. Top-notch production going down over here. What can I say?
Big time.
You know,
Big
just
time.
look at us as the most professional podcasters you've ever met.
Hands down.
You know,
hands down.
changing the game.
Have
hands
a
down,
different co-host
hands down.
every other week. It's fine.
Oh,
The turnover
just sending
rate
it,
for
you
this
know?
podcast is just ridiculous these days. It's unreal.
Oh, fucking. And I'm just raking it in with the numbers and everything on it. So, I mean,
Bank
I
account's
can't
looking
stop
nice
it at
and
any moment.
fat for sure.
Oh, it's thick. It's thick after this podcast. I'm almost thinking of getting rid of other jobs just for this, you know? All right,
Sure.
Nick's back. Let's see if it works this time.
Brother.
Are we
All
good?
right, all right.
Yeah, it's better.
Oh, we're good
Sweet. I
now.
totally-
Nick's got it. Look at this guy.
I totally didn't have my AirPods
Nah.
hooked up to the computer, so
Oh, that was probably what it was.
It's all right.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, JJ went through it earlier in the testing session. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
we're good. We're good. All right, you guys. Our next guest up here is Nick Nestoroff of RE Factory Racing. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. And he has the best shaved head in the pits that I've ever seen. And he is your winner of round number 2. And yeah, Nick, talk to us. I mean, fucking came out firing for round 2, you know?
yeah, it was all the haircut, you know. Just aerodynamics really played the part. So now, I honestly, I shaved.
It wasn't that. It was that wrist brace.
It's the sprained wrist. No, it was honestly just super hot and humid, so I was like, I got to shave it, even though I didn't have much to begin with. I just don't like having sweaty, muddy hair, so shaved her down for the summer. But no, it was a good race. It was Windrock's gnarly. It's one of the only places in America I really think like kind of represents like European racing and European riding. So it's like super tricky and difficult, and there's a lot of elevation to race. So I think it really tests everything. You can't just be like super fit or really good on a bike. You have to have a little bit of everything, and then have a good bike to go with it. Because honestly, the weather was changing so much. Like you get your bike set up for the wet, and then it would be like an in between, and then it would dry out by Saturday, and then Sunday it dried out even more. So it was your bike had to be right there with you all weekend. So it was a challenging race, but it was fun.
Did you end up switching bike from Nebo to there, like different bike, or?
No, I kept the same bike. I just switched pressures. I ran the bike quite a bit softer at Windrock just because it was quite a bit wetter, and then it's also just you have long descent. So if you're running a stiff setup, your hands aren't going to make it to the bottom. And obviously, Nebo was pretty pedally, and you had to be really efficient. So we ran the bike a bit stiffer there. But for Windrock, it was just long, rough descent. So you had to keep the bike pretty planted and also somewhat soft to make sure you could hang on, because the arm pump was so gnarly, like the arm and hand pump at Windrock, because first day we had like 2 7-minute back-to-back stages, so it like fried your forearms out for the next day. So yeah.
I mean, is that obviously, look, you won the first 3 stages. Was that your secret sauce? I mean, was that the plan? Like, what was up with that, you know?
Yeah, honestly, like I didn't start that well at the first round. I started pretty slow on day 1. So coming into the second round, I just wanted to come out swinging. And I knew once I won the first 2, I was like, all right, let's try to win the third one and have a good lead going into Sunday. And then I could kind of just not cruise it in, but just have a different race kind of mindset, different racecraft, and not have to send it as hard on Sunday. So yeah, Saturday is really important, because if you can set yourself up super well to where you don't have to be that stressed on Sunday, because it's gnarly when it's like, it's cool for everyone and the racers when it comes down to like the wire and like you're battling with someone for the last stage, but it's way better as a racer to have a good lead. Like I think I had like 14 seconds going to the last stage, so it wasn't as stressful as it could have been. So yeah, it was kind of the plan from day 1. But I mean, that's
Hey,
like
it
your
worked
plan.
out. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan for every race. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but it went well last week.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're getting a little bit of a delay over there. It's probably in this top-notch internet I have going on in the middle of New Mexico.
Just a smidge. Just a smidge.
Just a smidge.
Are you on the Wi-Fi
Hey,
over at
so like,
Buffalo
look,
Wild Wings?
yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings, yeah, the Wi-Fi. This Flying J is just crushing it right now. So
You need to
look, like Nebo, obviously. Oh fuck! I do, but I barely pulled into this place and freaking set everything up, and I didn't have no time to get the Starlink. I'm just rocking the 5G, here LTE. I don't even know. But we're top-notch production for this podcast, Nick. You know that,
I know that.
Talk to me like, look, Nebo, fuck, let's rewind just a second. It was fucked with that rain. Obviously, we didn't know that it was going to cancel for Sunday, but everyone, it seemed like, obviously they didn't get on the top 3, was like, hey, I was ready to go for the next day, and that was my plan. Is that why you were like, fuck it, I'm firing off the first 3 stage wins at this one, and there's going to be no fucking question for the second day?
Yeah, I mean, most of the races, we don't ever have to worry about that. Like, you always have a second day. There's never kind of weird. I mean, we're in the mountains out west, so you could have weird thunderstorms rolling, but this time of the year in Arkansas and Tennessee, where the first 2 rounds were, it's like they get weird tropical storms, which we saw both weeks. So after the first round, just not getting to race on Sunday and it getting canceled, it definitely kind of like, it just didn't sit right all week, and I just felt like I wasn't able to just go out there and prove myself. And so the second race, I was like, the weather looked good. There was like nothing coming in on Sunday, but I was like, I'm gonna make up for this and come out swinging, just in case. No, I knew there wasn't going to be any bad weather rolling in the second round, but after the first one, it was I was a little frustrated just because, we only ran half the race, but it's like you should still be there for that first half of the race. Like, there was no reason why I shouldn't have been, fighting for the win. It was just got to get the jitters out, first round.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but your teammate Snow fired off a good shot there for the first round. Like.
Yeah, I heard about it all week after.
I'm sure you did. Knowing Jacob, I'm sure you did.
I bet that little fucker never shut up on that road trip there. Fuck. Oh man, we love you, Snow.
He's a really good kid. He's super humble. I'm just giving him a hard time, but he was. He definitely was smiling the whole week.
Just a different energy with Snow for sure.
But look, he's more than your teammate. You guys trained all off season together and everything like that. So seeing him get second, you obviously knew you guys had the sauce to figure it out to get the win, or to be up there. So I'm sure it was, almost probably like, a little bit of a relief, but I'm sure you probably got in the van and just didn't even stop and drove straight there, but fired up. But talk about a little bit of off season, having him as your new teammate, and he's young and just ready to go with energy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously mountain biking is an independent sport, but like we have a team to go out there and represent our sponsors. And obviously if I'm not up front, then I would love for my teammates to be. So it was really cool to see him up there. And so it's great. I mean, he's young, he's sending it. I mean, he's only a few years younger than me, but it keeps me young for sure. It keeps me in check because I know if I'm not riding my full potential, he'll be right there. So I was stoked for him, and we trained together all winter. So he's not that far from me back in San Diego. So we do most of our road riding, most of our mountain biking, shuttling. We build trails 3 or 4 days a week all winter. So he's kind of my main sparring partner all winter. So hopefully we could get a 1-2 this year. We'll see. That's kind of our plan. But
is that the plan?
Was cool.
Nice.
That was the plan at Windrock. I held my end of the deal up, but he didn't. But he was still up there though. It was cool to be on the podium with him, and he was in 5th, so not bad at all. It's his second podium. He was bummed after getting second the weekend before. He's like I want to be there again. So he was a little bummed with 5th. I'm like, dude, 2 weeks ago you would have been pumped with that, so you should be pumped with it now.
Yeah.
So.
It's because he got a taste of that second place, so he just gets bummed getting 5th. But
yeah, that's the funny part about racing is you just start you just have a new mindset when you do well, and then it's like your mindset from the year before, you would have been like super pumped with a certain result, but then like this year you have new goals and a new mindset, and it's like funny how it goes, but it's part of it.
No doubt. What is Austin? Do you know
Oh, go ahead.
Do you know who the leader is after this? Because you got what? It was sixth in Nevo.
Yeah, so I think Colum's got a 2-point lead. I think Aiden and I and Snow are like, I think we're all within like 2 points behind, 2 or 3 points behind. So everything's super tight. So
that's so rad. I love that.
I like that. The points this year, they restructured it so that if you win, you get quite a big advantage from second. Kind of like how Supercross and outdoors is, like second, third, fourth, fifth are tight, but then if you win, you get like quite a few extra points. So I think that's how it should be, because then it's just like you're rewarded for winning. So I definitely gained a bit more on Colton. I think he got third, so he still has the lead, but we definitely tightened it up. After getting sixth the first round, I was like, it's already out. It's already gone. Like,
I'm sure.
If it was the old series points, you would you would be crawling back, right? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
it's I think it's good though, because now you're not only rewarded for consistency, but you're rewarded for a win, which is sweet. So like I think it's 3 points on second, so it's like quite a big gap. So
yeah.
Is
it the same as Supercross, right? Where it's like 3-2-2 and then 1-1-1-1-1.
Yeah, it's basically the exact same point structure.
Okay.
Yeah, we changed a little bit towards the end, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is sweet, because I think if you're in the top three, if you're in the top three, I feel like you should be kind of rewarded for that. So I think that the restructure is good for sure.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So look, I feel like that pro men's category last year wasn't as gnarly as it is this year. Like everyone's training up. Like, is that the way right now, or is that we're seeing that from the first 2 rounds?
Yeah, I think it's tough to say just a couple rounds in to compare it to last year. But I mean, last year it was kind of it was like Colton and Mitch and I were kind of in the top 3 every race, and it was kind of switching. But this year it's like, I mean, we had different top 3 every race. I think different top 5 every race, like both rounds. So it was like, it's cool to see it like that. I mean, we have like a lot of younger kids coming up who are kind of just coming in a little quicker than I think like 5 years ago, you had like the same top 5, and now it's like you have younger kids who can like, once you see you can do something, you get there a lot quicker. So like when you have the older guys doing something, just like when I first started racing Enduro, we had a Richie and all that, like I could see what he was doing, and then it's like, once you see it, then you can visualize it and you get there a lot quicker. So I think all these young kids kind of like they're hitting the threshold way earlier. So yeah, it's cool.
I mean, I don't know. The vets are still winning right now. So not to say that you guys are old, but like you guys are the veterans of the class at BME. You guys are still leading it, I feel like, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm 24, Colton's 25, but like we're like the older people on the podium. So
yeah, you're the you
are though. I mean, it's
yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Cody just turned 30 though, so he'll get on the box this year and he'll bring up the average age. So
yeah. So like this is like, I guess I'm trying to also figure it out too. This is your guys' first year. You're kind of acting as team manager. You set up kind of team into play, I guess. I don't know if I'm getting it right, but like talk about that. Like when did this whole idea come about with being, more of a team and having, teammates more or less, all about that,
Yeah. So, I mean, this is my second year riding for Ari, it was Fazari last year, first year on Ari now, but same company, same everything. So last year I had a factory independent contract. So they were supporting me as a factory rider, but it wasn't a team deal. I was still doing all my own independent personal contracts and all that, which was a good learning curve. And it kind of helped pave the way for this year, kind of running a team, just kind of scaling everything up a bit. So having Kaylee on the team is sweet. Obviously, as my girlfriend, like, it was a bummer last year we weren't on the same team like we have been the last handful of years. So obviously bringing her over was sweet, and then adding Jake was awesome. So the team dynamic is sweet. It's definitely a lot to balance for me as a racer. I have a lot of help. Joey Forrester, who I grew up racing with, he's in sports marketing at Ari, so he's he picks up so much of my workload while I'm racing. Like when I'm racing, I can kind of clock out of the team manager role, and he handles all that stuff for me. And so it's sweet having his help, because we're kind of, you could say we're co-managing the team. So I do a lot of like on the road logistics stuff, and he kind of does that stuff kind of in-house, like communicating with sponsors and making sure all the orders are coming in and we have parts and all that. But yeah, it's a lot to balance as a racer, but I really enjoy that side of the sport. So yeah, it's good. It's first year, and most of the contracts and then all the riders are on 2 years. So it's going to look the same next year, and we're stoked. So
Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
What's like the benefit from going that way than actually being like a privateer, I guess?
I think honestly the simple answer for that is just you have more leverage when there's, more riders, right? So if I'm going to pitch something to a company, it's just me. If I'm what they're looking for, then it works out. But when you have a female and you have a second pro, and then we have Justin Fierro racing e-bikes, we have like more of a complete package. So when you're going to a company and you're fighting with other athletes to get a spot riding for that company, it's just a little easier when you come in as a complete package. So yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot more this year, having the whole team. I mean, I'm traveling with people, and we have sick bikes, and we have like all of our brands are willing to do a lot of cool stuff for us, like custom kits, and we have the bikes, the frames match, like the red RockShox fork. We got custom painted frames, kits to go with it, helmets, shoes, like everything matches. So when you just have a whole team, I feel like companies are willing to go above and beyond. So I feel like that's like the added perk of having a team compared to like me being a factory independent rider last year, is just you have a bit more pull and leverage. So yeah, everything just ran a bit smoother. So
But can we get you like a better looking toolbox situation?
Everyone gives me a hard time for the toolbox, but I mean, I've had that thing for 7 or 8 years. She's gone to Europe with me, and I mean, she might not be the best looking toolbox in the pits, but she's got everything you need, not only to work on your bike, but you could also work on your car with it. So
Well, and Nick knows where every single tool is in that toolbox. He could tell you. He could be looking the other way and be like, "Oh, it's right over there." You know what I mean?
that's the best part, is people will like.
I don't think so. No.
People will come up and like ask for a tool, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, you go ahead, and they can't find it, and I go in and like 1 second I can find it. You just know where everything is. It's all just a blender of parts, but it works.
A tool sponsor would be nice.
Oh,
though,
it's definitely a blender of something.
Yeah, if Snap-on or Park Tool or
Boxo or something. Let's get Boxo
Snap-on. Wow, we're going deep right now. Holy moly.
Harbor Freight, if anyone's listening. If anyone's listening, feel free.
Harbor Freight.
Kill me right now.
You got booth space, is what you're saying, open for some Harbor Freight banners and a big some toolbox, huh?
There. Oh yeah. Now most of my tools are from Harbor Freight.
Yeah, no.
So is the box. So I'm not ashamed. The 5 mil round.
TSA opened that thing up and was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah. Oh yeah. Talk about your 5 to 6 mil, because his toolbox is so jammed with so much shit in there, and it's scattered. He pulls out this like one multi-tool of Allen wrench thing going on, and we're all giving him shit because it's got a 5 and then a 6. It just gets bigger. I was waiting for it to be like, well, this one's also a 7, then an 8, and then a 9.
And a 22 mil, you could do an axle.
No, that's how it is. I have these they have these T handles, and all the like whatever the millimeter wrench it is on the end, it like tapers up to a bigger one. I don't know why. So the 4 mil's got like a built-in 5 mil. The 5's got a built-in 6. So
whatever works.
You can start leaving tools at home. You don't need all of them.
That's clutch.
That is so fucking true, dude. I bet TSA opened that fucking toolbox up when you were going to Europe and was like, "Nah, I ain't fucking with this. Just let it go."
He's good. He's clear. Let him go.
I wonder what they were thinking when I flew to Europe with that thing. It was a little more organized.
Yeah,
more organized.
You both. I was wondering. Well, man, that's gnarly.
Nick, who does the kit for you guys? Who is the actual gear sponsor?
So we ride for Pearl Izumi for pants, shorts, and then jersey and gloves. And they have a full custom made to order team where you can, if you're just any, rider off the street, you can go on and design a kit with them and order a custom kit, which is pretty rad. We're lucky enough to where we have in-house designers at Ari, some of their graphic designers and product designers that are pretty good with that sort of thing. So they actually designed all our kits for us. His name's Ryan. He works at Ari, and he's like insane. He could design a kit in like a half hour. It's ridiculous. But he designed our kits, and we kind of voted on a couple for the first 2 races, and then we have some more coming out this year. So yeah, and Pearl's awesome. Like they everything printed over super well, and they were super easy to work with, and like they didn't have to make any changes. They kind of just let us like take the reins, design it, and they just printed it out, and yeah, it turned out awesome. So knowing what we know now, we definitely want some crazy stuff in the future, like kit wise. Like now that we know like everything like transfers over super good, and like they're willing to let us kind of do what we want to do some like crazy kits in the future and get a little more moto inspired. So
I would love that. I mean, they looked good to begin with. Like I would say, like seeing you guys like have exactly the same kits, everything. I think. Do you guys also have the same helmets, or is it varied between?
It's varied. I have like a custom painted Monster Army helmet. Snow has some. He's on the stickered program, and then Kaylee rides for Good Ranchers, which is like a meat farm subscription company, and then Justin's running a GoPro lid. So they're all 6D lids, but they're all kind of painted their own way. But they all honestly look the same. There's like a bit of red on every helmet, so it blends in good.
Yeah, you guys definitely look
so
like
safe.
The most official team out there with the kits that you guys have.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
official
it.
as fuck.
Official.
I appreciate that. That's what I mean. We were trying to go for that. Just we're trying to elevate like North American racing. So we hope if we can kind of influence other teams, and then everyone can kind of elevate, it's just going to help all of us. So, I mean, it's a lot of resources to have, but we're stoked on how it all turned out. So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some proper money on the line over here. This is just me being a little selfish, but I ain't getting on no fucking plane to Europe. If I was a top racer, I'd be like, fuck that. There's more money here. You know, obviously we're ironing out the points and changing up a lot. I think we're kind of doing a lot different for some enduro stuff, and you know, we're throwing shit at the wall. Like you guys have permanent numbers and shit. Pretty sick, you know?
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
Yeah,
I think like honestly right now American racing is growing. It's really strong, obviously, not just in enduro but also downhill and even slalom racing. Like we have so much competition here in the States, and I think obviously downhill World Cups, it's huge, but enduro World Cup racing is it's kind of in a weird spot right now. So I think BME and everyone else involved with North American enduro racing could kind of capitalize on that. Hopefully the Canadians could come down, start racing here. If we could get some of the Aussies and Kiwis up, like I think we could really compete with the European scene. Just like in other sports, you have big American series and big European series. So I think if everything goes to plan, like in the next few years, I think we could see a lot of big names coming over from Europe and just staying here in North America. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, and whatever they do, just don't piss you off, because like when you're pissed, you seem to ride better. So that's all I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is?
There's a lot of drama in the BME scene. It's just getting heated. Everyone's so fast that it's just like other sports. You watch moto, and obviously it's they're on a way bigger scale, but it's the same thing. We're all wanting to win, and we're all technically doing it for some sort of dollar at the end of the day. So yeah, things get heated, but it's good. Like everyone respects each other. It just adds another layer. So
it's interesting because I feel like in the women's class, it's like, oh yeah, high fives and everyone's stoked, and then in the men's class,
I'm so
it's
proud
like,
of you.
Yeah, yes. In the men's class, it's like, get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm jealous of the chicks. They're always having a good time, helping each other out, high fiving, and then the guys are just, you have like your homie or your 2 homies you pedal with, and then everyone else is all split up. So
I mean, now that we have Rochelle coming in and taking all their money, I don't know if that's going to stay that way much longer.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully we get Kaylee on board too. She's slowly warming up to enduro. She's obviously a big downhill chick, but she wants to start racing enduro, so she could probably throw a curveball in the mix too.
Which round? Like, I know she's going through some injury situation, but like, what is she thinking? Like, where are we at?
So she practiced every stage at Windrock, and I was talking to Rob, and they were going to give her like a last-minute entry Friday to race last weekend, but her wrist and shoulder she hurt pretty bad at the last downhill national, and it was good enough for her to race downhill here. Just obviously you only have to
one run, yeah.
line up and focus for one run. But Enduro is like all day, 2-day thing, and that's after practice. So it's a bit gnarlier on your body, I'd say, in terms of injuries. So she was bummed. She really wanted to do it. And I think this one being Winter Rock, obviously being pretty gnarly and technical, she would have done really good with her skill set. But she's going to do Sunrise. And I think the rest of the Enduros this season, she said she's going to do. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So
that's sick. I'm excited to throw another one into the mix and just either lengthen the points gap and take money from people and get more drama. So I'm telling you, the women's class is going to get way more dramatic than it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. The guys are they're taking the title on the drama this year.
Oh, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that.
For sure. No, like and so like what is when the points are getting tight here towards the end? Like we were talking about this with Rochelle a little bit, like hey man, like you're gonna try to get someone to get in between you, or you're gonna try to invite someone over to race in the men's class to start stacking points between you and Colton or whoever it is. Obviously, Aiden's kind of punching pretty hard right now, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I feel like there's gonna be maybe a little bit more strategy now to get this championship.
Yeah, for sure. I think there is, especially with the way the points work out. You're so rewarded for winning. It's like if you could go get a couple wins a year and then just be second, third the rest of the year, you're set up good. Where like the last few years, it was kind of like just run some top threes and you're good. But now it's like you're so rewarded for winning that it's like I think that's going to elevate everyone's racing because obviously the easiest way to win a championship is to win, but it's just going to keep things a little interesting because you're going to have guys and girls sending it. So, but yeah, when it comes down to the end of the year, it's like, I mean, if it's between you and someone else and the other person has to get a win to beat you in the overall, yeah, it'd be good to invite some big names over from Europe to get.
I mean,
throw a curveball in.
You know for a fact that's why Aiden brought his boy from BC. He was like, "Hey, Johnny BC, I'm going to need you to do a little bit better than 4th, 5th place. I'm going to need you to get in the podium to get some points off him."
I know. He got me at the first round, so I guess it worked.
Yeah, there we go. He got someone.
He's like, hey man, I want to fuck these points up for sure. Like, and I think we're gonna see more of that type of shit going on a little bit, like popping in and out to fuck with the points, you know.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, last year the last round was at Big Sky, and it was the weekend after Crankworks Whistler, and there was like a lot of guys who were messaging us wanting to come down. A lot of Canadians, a few of the Kiwis, and also Richie and stuff. They were all talking about coming down to Big Sky, which would have been awesome to race some of those guys. And so I think people are starting to take notice. Like Sea Otter this year, like there was a couple big name enduro dudes and downhill guys who were like asking about big non-enduro and American racing and starting to like take notice of it. So I think if we could just keep kind of pushing and elevating at this level and also trying to keep some of the top pros here, because it's one thing when like you say you want to help grow racing in America, but then you go over to Europe all summer. It's like, well, you're not really helping. You're not helping grow American racing unless you're here racing. So I think if we can keep a lot of the top guys here, in the next years it'll help grow. So yeah.
And it's easy. Hey, you don't want to be getting on the plane and going over there and fucking around on their courses that they ride all the time, right? Too, you know, it's like, all right,
if you can.
Maybe we dish it up a little bit, like, you know, like keeping your time zone somewhat and fucking dish it up to what you've been what all the Americans face when they go over there, right?
Yeah, that's the tough part that no one talks about, is that like even if those guys aren't necessarily riding all the venues early, if they're just in the same area, they're going to be so fast on those type of trails and that type of terrain. So it's like when you go over there, it's like you have everything stacked against you as anyone in North America, and also like down in Australia, New Zealand. It's like when we go over to Europe, it's like that's why the Europeans are so good. Like, I mean, obviously we've had some like crazy runs with some guys outside of Europe in both downhill and enduro, but it's hard to compete with those guys there. They're sleeping in their own bed in between the races. They're driving their own car to the races, and they're getting to ride everything like all winter and all spring. Yeah. So it's hard to compete with them out there, but that's why it'll be sweet to try to keep growing here. And it's like, you know, look at Moto, like the American racing is like, the dudes in Europe are gnarly, but it's like the top American notch. Racing is what people watch. So
I agree.
Yeah. So when you add in Euro on your team. That's what we're, you know.
That would be a good
it's only a
idea.
matter of time before we get a European on the RE team, no doubt.
Yeah, that would actually be a good idea. Get a Canadian and a European, and then everyone would start taking notice. Like, oh, this guy's over racing in America. Like,
That'd be cool.
yeah, it's a good idea.
Snow, look out, dude. You know.
Yeah, it's gonna come take Snow's ride.
Oh.
Yeah, we might have some.
Nah, we love Snow too much.
Yeah,
Pierre's gonna come take Snow's ride.
Shit.
Snow's over there beating his head into the wall.
Yeah, we're waiting for him to use the same link. He's probably trying to join right now to talk shit.
He's downstairs. He's here at the house. He's downstairs, so he's probably watching.
No way.
Oh, he's pissed.
Oh,
you can probably hear him
fucking
banging on
Snow,
the
man.
roof.
I was trying to think of the dude
Oh,
from
man.
Talladega Nights. What was his name? The French dude? Was it like Jean Girard?
Oh,
Yeah, they get his John.
yeah, John Gerard.
Yeah. We gotta sign John Girard to come here and race. We need a Frenchie.
We already
here.
have the John Gerard of the women's class right now with Rochelle in there, you know, running around with dual crown. And you think that strategy, like that she took, obviously the women's is an interesting situation, but like, you think a dude could have done that in the dude class or no?
Totally. Yeah. At a place like Windrock,
Really?
Windrock, there's not much downside to a dual crown because there's like very little pedaling on all the stages. We're pretty lucky with like our suspension, like the Zeb we're running is so stiff. It's like you don't run into a lot of the problems you do with other single crown forks. So I don't know if it would have made me necessarily go faster, but obviously like the downhill forks are just stiffer and burlier. So it's like, I don't know if you'd want to throw it on an enduro bike, but like if you ran a straight up downhill bike at Windrock, I think it would be really fast. I think it's probably one of the only places we race a BME at that you could ride a downhill bike and be on the box or technically like fighting for a win. So it would have been cool if someone rode a downhill bike. I remember the Tennessee National Enduro like 3 years ago. It was like a big snowstorm and they like shortened all the tracks so there was no climbing and no pedaling. I raced my downhill bike at that Enduro and I was like third right behind Richie.
Really?
Stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. I got a lot of crap for it for sure because they were like, "This is an enduro race. You're on a DH bike," but I was still like a downhill racer at that time. I wasn't fully converted to enduro yet, so I was like, "I'm riding my downhill."
This is the bike I got. This is all I got. I'm gonna ride the downhill bike. That's so funny.
Yeah. So
I think it was like 4 years ago, and I was at Crankworks Whistler and that was when they still had EWS there. Some dude, they loaded his bike on not as good, and it fell off the chairlift. And it broke, but he didn't have any other bike, and he was signed up in EWS Pro Man or whatever, and he pulled out the downhill bike and raced it and was still be able to make his transfer times. That's a place you could probably, I feel like you get away with it, but I don't, it's gnarly, but that I'm just remembering that, but like, fuck, dude, like to me, I feel like you probably in the tight stuff, it'd be harder to turn, like, or just the mindset of like, fuck it, I'm just gonna have to pedal this thing 2,000 feet on a climb or something here and there would blows my mind.
Yeah, that's the gnarly part, especially there at Whistler. Like they're known for having bigger days, so it's like the one I did there was 5,000 or 6,000 feet of climbing, and it's like there's no way I'm doing that on a DH bike. But yeah, I don't know. I guess you could just run all the stages. That's what Rachel was doing at Windrock.
Yeah.
Like she was hiking that thing just as quick as we were pedaling. So, Windrock though was interesting. Like there was literally no pedaling on the stages. There was like a couple little sprints. So yeah, I don't even know if Whistler it would even be an option. Obviously for that guy, that was his only option. But
that's the only option. Yeah.
There's quite a bit of on the tight stuff because downhill bikes are made to go straight. They don't do switchbacks well. So it's like the tight stuff would be tough. So, and there's so much rough stuff in enduro where you can't pedal. You're just pumping, and it's like obviously a trail bike's going to pump better than a DH bike. So, but I don't know. It'd be cool. Hopefully, hopefully we have some downhill guys coming in on their DH bikes. It'd be interesting.
What's like for you? Do you like the Windrock where there isn't a chairlift and there's, it's a little bit more of a raw, I feel like, kind of course? I don't know. Personally, I thought it was fucking gnarly in some sections, and but or do you like the bike park, you know, Tamarack or something like that more?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on the bike park. Some bike parks are really good with keeping things natural, and then some bike parks are just they just run machines down every trail, which is fine. You gotta have there's a place for everything in the sport. But I like the raw style riding. Like Windrock is some of my favorite type of riding you could do. I mean, that's why I go there so much every year because it's. I mean, you have a shuttle taking you up, and then you can climb to the top and have like a 2,000-foot drop. So it's hard to beat that, and the fact that it's self supported, like you're almost every stage you're climbing up to. Yeah, we get a bit of a shuttle, but you're doing a lot of climbing and like it's brutal. Like that second day, we didn't really do much climbing, but it was so hot and humid, and you are climbing and doing 4 stages in a day. It's like it was gnarly. Like it definitely was a factor, the heat and humidity and stuff. So I think that's cool when it's raw and gnarly like that, and then you throw in like just rowdy stages into the mix, and it's like it's kind of what I think enduro is. Like before I started racing enduro, I would think like, oh, I wonder what enduro is like. Like Windrock kind of came to mind. Like just you're out pedaling and there's gnarly trails. So obviously you got a bit of everything. Like Nebo's fun. It was so different. A lot of like blue kind of flowy trail. I know they put in a lot of fresh cuts, but like that style is not something I like. I like to ride in general. Like it doesn't matter what I'm riding, I'm having fun. But like I think if I'm gonna go out and ride, I'm gonna choose the gnarlier stuff that's like Windrock. So yeah.
I don't blame you.
You're looking to die, you know, the sketchy shit, the real sketchy shit. Nick's in.
He wants some butt puckers for sure. If he's not butt puckering, it's not good enough for him.
It makes sense. Look at that, you know, the shaved head. That makes a lot of sense.
Someone, I forgot who it was. I can't even remember what they said. Someone made a real funny comment about it because I just shaved it like the day before the race and then showed up. And someone said something gnarly. I forgot what they said, but there was a few comments I was laughing. I was like, all I did was shave my head.
They're like, things got serious.
Dude,
with
it
Nick.
looks gnarly.
Because I think it's just like it's like
I
a
wouldn't
business decision for sure.
It is a business decision.
Like you do that not because you're like, man, I'm gonna be like looking good. You're doing it because you're like, I'm sick and tired of worrying about all this stuff I don't got to worry about. I just want to go race my bike. Like that's what I'm sure that's what they thought.
I honestly did it because it was so hot and humid. I was like, and muddy. I was like, I don't want stuff in my hair. But
he's like, rather than showering and cleaning the hair, I'm just gonna bust it off right after and be done with it.
Just imagine, like, you know, you see Nick driving this Ari van in between stages, head shaved, and you cut him off or you brake check him a little bit. Like, fucking A, like, this dude just gonna pop out of that van and fucking kill you. You know, that's what I'd be thinking if I seen it.
No, you gotta when you're in the company van, it's a driving billboard, so you gotta be
the company van.
You gotta be on best behavior. So.
That's so good.
I'll just smile and wave.
So he has magnets that he puts over it and it makes it all white. So yeah, I mean, look, like now that's at what round now are we feeling? Like what's the one like that you think that you could probably put the biggest dent on the rest of them and punch ahead?
Honestly, I mean, it's hard to say because like I would say Sunrise because I won there last year, but I mean, I won Nebo last year too, and then look how it ended up this year. So I think it's you just got to show up and race your race. But I really like Sunrise. It's gnarly, it's long, it's high elevation. It's in Arizona, so it's hot. So you got to be like pretty gnarly just to like suffer through it all. So I think if you can go into it with like a strong mindset, you could put a big dent in the comp. So I'm looking forward to that one. I mean, it's the next round. We have 3 weeks till we're racing. So that one's sweet. And obviously they're in a unique situation, obviously being on an Indian res owned resort, and they're on Indian land, obviously. So it's they can kind of do what they want, right? They can't be sued. So like they can go out and just like, they don't have to deal with Forest Service. So they can just go out and cut like new fresh cut trails just like they did last year. So I already heard there's going to be like 3 fresh cuts, including the ones from last year, and along with the gnarly stuff in the bike park. So I think it's going to be really cool because they can they're unique. When you don't have to deal with the Forest Service, you can just cut a raw trail. And not have to worry about like erosion and the grade and stuff like that. You get really good racing. So it's like the same thing over in Europe. They can kind of do whatever they want there. So
Yeah.
I think Sunrise is a sweet race. So
Man, now he's like selling me on Sunrise. I'm like excited to go there now.
I like Sunrise. Sunrise is sick, dude. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a little biased because I'm from Arizona, but
Yeah.
like Sunrise is sick,
yeah,
you know,
it is. You're just like on top of like, you're just on this big kind of hill mount or big mountain, but it's you're on like this plateau. So when you're up there, there's just like these flat, like gnarly fields around you, and you're just like, it feels like you're like on top of Arizona, because like you think of Arizona and you think of the desert, but it's like you're up there and it's like you're in the trees, and then there's just like mountains and mountains, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I would definitely go there if you can.
Yeah.
nice. Like last year, I mean, I haven't even looked at what happened last year. This is the most I've actually like looked into the times, and I'm writing the reports a little bit more and stuff like that. Where did you put it down? Was it on the backcountry stages, or was it on the in the park stuff that helped you win?
Last year?
Yeah, last year.
Honestly, day one, I was in sixth place. Yeah, I was in sixth place the end of day one
really?
last year. I was like,
so it wasn't the backcountry stages.
I was like,
it wasn't the backcountry.
Well, that was the weird part, is like we had 3 stages that first day, and I think I was in like second after the first 2 backcountry stages, and then we had this like 10-minute switchback bike park stage. That was just like, I did not enjoy it at all. It was just like we were so like smoked from we already had done like 4,000 feet of climbing at elevation. We were like pretty just done, and I just like was slightly off pace, and I lost like 15 seconds on that stage somehow. And then so going into the second day, I was like, I'm gonna have to send these bike park stages. And then like we started out with the backcountry, and then we had 3 bike parks, and it was just like back to back to back. We had it was all chairlift access, so we were just like, it was like a stage an hour, and there was not much kind of rest in between. So I just got in a groove, and I like every stage I was making up like 5 or 6 seconds on everyone else, and then like came down to the last stage, and then I think it was between Mitch and I, and yeah, I barely got him, but it was, yeah. So I don't know, it's a mix of everything, because like you can be like far off on day one, but it's like day two's I think the most important one, because everyone's starting to feel it after 2 days of practice and a day of racing. And then everyone's also thinking about, oh, it's just make it to the end of the race. So if you can come in a day 2 with like a strong mindset, you can do some pretty cool things. So yeah, I know that's why I wasn't like at Nevo this year. I was like, whatever, I'm in 6, like kind of pissed, but I'm like, I'm gonna send it tomorrow. And like I was in that right mindset. And then like the storms rolled through, and it obviously canceled. So yeah, that's the funny thing about Enduro, is like your result comes at the end of the race. So it's like even after day one, like you could kind of, even if you're in the lead, you can lose it, and if you're in 5th or 6th, like you can make it back. So that's why I love it. It's a cool sport.
Is a percentage pie, like if we had to say like mental to how much mental the sport is to, or for the Enduro to like maybe like being strong, like where would we put that? Even put a bike in there, like how important the bike is. Like, you know, I always hear that in moto. It's like, which one are we going to land at here? Like 50-50, 25, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I think a lot of people overlook just like skill on a bike. Like no one is going out and like, when people are saying they're training, they're like going to get fit and strong. Like they're not going out and like smashing a flat corner. Yeah, they're not going out and like doing turn drills on flat corners. So it's like, I think people overlook that stuff, because that stuff's so important. Like the actual skills and fundamentals of riding a bike it's tough, because like you also want to make sure you're strong and fit and stuff, but like you got to do everything for Enduro, because it's Enduro. Like it's literally you're doing everything on a bike. Like you're not just doing downhill, you're not just climbing, like everything's getting thrown at you. So but then the mental side's huge, because it doesn't matter how strong and fit you are. Like if you're scared, you're not going to do good. So it's like you have to be comfortable like throwing yourself into these sections with minimal practice and changing conditions, and so I think the mental side's huge, because yeah, I mean, I know a lot of strong and fit people who can't ride a bike that good. So it's like you gotta be just mentally like be able to turn your brain off and just send it for racing. So Yeah, that's it's hard to like actually put a percentage down because it's like you need to be fit, you need to have a good strong mindset, you got to have a good bike, you got to have good skills. So it's like there's like 100 different things. So but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I because I've wondered that, like, it seems like, I mean, if you gave me 100 runs on one of those trails, yeah, fuck yeah, towards the end of it, I'd be feeling pretty good, and I feel like I can close in. It kind of blows my mind. Like JJ and I come from moto, and it was like, it's not like this. Like, we just went out there and blind in the first lap. I'm like, yeah, fuck this, you know?
Yeah.
But you guys like click another gear, and you're like, nah, this is what I fucking want. You're like, what?
Yeah.
The
I mean,
fuck?
I think I've had conversations with you before, Austin, where like I almost feel like I get to a point where like I feel like going down a trail blind versus like you giving me too many opportunities to look at things is almost better. And I honestly feel like a ton of the enduro people, like the fact that you guys can just like look at the stage basically once, like you guys just ride down it and then you're like, okay, I can go 110% down the stage and I'll be completely fine is pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a cool part about enduro is you're right. You have so much to learn that you can't just memorize everything. Where like downhill, you're
Yeah.
learning every single square inch of the track and every rock. So like you have time to stress over the little things. Where in enduro, you don't have the time because it's just hard enough to do a run on each stage in practice, let alone like look at every single little gap or line. So you kind of just have to like figure out what the main lines are and just run it. So you get good at reading terrain, and you get good at just trusting your instincts. Because I mean, you'll come into a section that you rode on Thursday early, and then everyone rode it after you, and now you're racing it on Saturday 2 days later, and the route that you used to corner on is now 3 inches off the ground, and your front wheel is like going to be on it in a quarter second. You have to unweight and lift over it, and it's like that stuff is like wild because you don't even remember it when you get to the bottom. You're just like subconsciously doing it as you're riding. So it's a pretty unique sport, and it's maybe in the shadow of downhill a bit, obviously, just it's how it goes. But I think a lot of people, a lot of downhill guys, like if they came to an enduro race, they would like just have a lot of respect for enduro guys. And it goes both ways, but it's a gnarly sport. So
Heck yeah.
Unless you're Sam Hill, you know, I mean, just saying. But
yeah, he's the
but
god.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, fuck, I know, flat pedals and all, like, what the fuck, man. It's a gnarly, like just like you said with that route thing, like just even when we were shooting some of the stages, like JJ, I mean, he probably says I like to go to where the gnarly shit is and like see you guys just go through the rowdy shit, get shots, video, whatever it is. I would say it is the same way as a fan that goes to Supercross, right? Like he wants to see the fucking whoop section and see if someone dies in it, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah. Or the big rhythm section.
Yeah,
like you want to see all the good stuff.
Yeah, and like the see on, I'm gonna just stage 6, how much the trail changed from the e-bike class all the way to the last one that went down there. I mean, new rocks, new fucking everything, just fucking people's skin on the trail from plowing themselves into the ground.
Yeah, someone's water
all
bottle
that type
fell
of
out,
stuff.
and then people were hitting the water bottle. I was like, dude.
Yeah, like you guys just fucking ride it, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that stage was gnarly, and that steep bit you guys were at, like, it changed so much. I came in and had a totally different line I was trying to hit, but I just got thrown into this line, and I was like, cool, run it, because it's like
it was a great line that you took too.
Yeah,
thank you. But yeah, that's just part of like on the fly, fast twitch, just movements. Like you're like, I was trying to go inside over a rock and then hold the high, and I got pushed outside around the rock and then inside. It was a complete opposite line I was thinking about taking, but it's like that's part of enduro. Is like we got one run down it in practice, and then we're racing it, and it was wet in practice, and now it's dry, and it's like you just rolled it. So
yeah, that is so true. It was fucking wet in practice. I forgot about that. And
yeah, I mean they rode it probably the same time that we rode it on practice day, and then the day you race it, it doesn't look anything like that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's the crazy part is like, because downhill you're doing runs like every 30 minutes for 3 days in a row, and then you go to race, you know exactly how it is. Where enduro is like our Saturday tracks are riding on Thursday, our Sunday tracks are riding Friday. You have a day off in between. You don't get to ride those tracks, and it's like, and when it's drying up and changing, and you're riding other tracks, your brain's like forgetting so much of the tracks you rode the day before that it's like it's wild. It's that's why we love it though. Like it's always interesting. It's never the same.
Yeah, I feel like it keeps you guys like on your toes so much that like it never feels like it gets stale because you're just always like trying to solve a problem every single day of your life, riding those things.
You're literally just trying to solve a problem. That's like the best
You
way
guys
to say
are.
it.
You literally are. That is the best way to fucking say it.
And the problem is like your well-being. You're trying to keep
your sanity, your life.
True. So fucking true.
Well, that's like what I was saying about like the mental side of racing is like you got to cut that stuff out when you're scared because it's like your well-being and your safety and everything changing and getting thrown out. You just got to like shut your brain off and just like go. So
yeah, I mean the sad thing is even the people in like the amateur men are doing the same thing down that same line on stage 6 and they're absolutely just obliterating themselves versus you guys survive it. Whereas dude, we saw some of the sketchiest moments I've ever seen anyone ride a bike in my life down that stage. There's people going down that stage with their feet just like dangling, not even on the pedals, just like steering with their feet, like touching rocks. And I don't even know how some of them didn't make it or didn't fall, but one of them in particular, me and Austin, unfortunately did not get any footage of, but has to be the hardest slam I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, this dude quite literally fell like 2 stories, like right at the very beginning of that section where there's like the rock, kind of like the diving board next to the tree. He like tucked his wheel on that rock and went flying like all the way past the right-hand turn.
Did he land on one of your guys' bikes?
Yeah, he landed on my e-bike.
I heard about that.
He landed on 3 bikes.
Yeah, technically he did. He hit like everyone's bike, but specifically my bike was all like twisted up and stuff.
Even Brandon Fisher's crash was fucked.
Dude, I mean, he got up quick. Like he didn't seem like he was bad, but yeah. My handlebars, like my whole like front brake like lever and everything was like twisted all the way up, and I was like, dude, he might have hit that on his butt or something, Mike.
Oh, yeah, that's gnarly. And that's like the crazy thing is I think a lot of pros like selfishly think that they are at the most risk because the speed they're going, but like you see some of the amateurs and like they're still going relatively quick. They might not have the fitness and strength to back it up or like the skill, but they're just out having fun, which is great. But like they have these slams and then it reminds you like everyone's in the same boat. It doesn't matter if you're the best in the world, best in the country, or just like a 9-to-5 dude going out and riding. It's like everyone's in the same boat of like we're doing it because we love it, but everyone's scared and then there's chances of getting hurt.
Well, yeah, there's the people going down that stage absolutely risking everything in their life, possibly not being able to make it to work on Monday. And then there's the people that were like going down where like there was a dude that rode down me and like next to me in Austin. He was like, I made a terrible decision. I shouldn't have done it. So it's like you either do what you guys do, which is just no regard, full throttle the whole time, or you're like, okay, I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. I probably should just walk my bike down the stage. There's no in between. There's no in between.
Yes.
There's no in between, but that's the cool part.
Cool
part about racing is you just like you send it and you have no regard for your safety. Because like I can't like in practice, like I can't ride fast, and at home I can't ride that fast because I'm like thinking about everything. My brain's way too turned on. Where when you race, you turn everything off and you're just full throttle, and it's like that's cool because you get into this like crazy flow state where you're just like not thinking about anything and you're just like flowing. But it's gnarly, but it's a crazy feeling. But yeah, I think. That's the cool part is like the speed changes so much from practice to race. Like if you watch your practice times, you still think you're going fast, but then you compare it to a race time and you're like, how did I just go 40 seconds quicker on like a 5-minute trail? But it's like, you're just
I'll be honest. I 100% believe that because I think I even said it this past weekend. I think I was watching I think you were riding and then like Aiden rode by me and I was like, I mean, we would be like talking. We're like, who do you think's going to win? And I'd be like, I don't know, like Nick and Aiden don't look like they're like shredding. Like they look like they're just kind of like dilly-dallying around. And I was like, I don't know, maybe they're not super comfortable. And then you guys go out and you guys like literally just demolish everybody. So it's like
Yeah.
clearly there's the practice and the race speed that are not the same. I also feel like you guys try to like, you know, it's almost like Supercross where they're like they don't pull the rhythm section out until the very end type of thing. Like you guys are like, oh, I'm just kind of piecing things together, taking a look at everything.
It's fucking mental. It's a
That's
mental
what,
game
yeah,
out there.
100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's a good point that you brought up because there's a lot of things that go into it. Like one, you don't want to get hurt in practice. Like if you just make it to the race, that's like a feat on its own. And then also you don't want to deal with mechanicals in practice when you're out. You want like it's already hard enough to ride all 4 stages in a day, and it's like you want to just like get on with it. So you might just put it on cruise control just to make it to the end of the day and ride everything. And then also, yeah, your brain's like you're thinking, you're trying to learn the tracks, and you're just not on that like race flow state. So a lot of people come up to me in practice and they're like, "Everything all good?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, just looking at everything." Like even like my guys who do my media, Carson and Ben, they're like, they give me such a hard time. Like at the end of the day, they're like, dude, you were not looking too on it. I'm like, guys, the race is in 2 days. Like the race is not today. Like I'm not ever doubting my confidence when they say that. I'm like, I know I have it. I'm practicing. We're talking about practice.
No, it's true though. Like it looks that way because like the difference of seeing you guys, because I said the same thing about Aiden because of the practice. Like I'd see you guys practice, and then like you guys just when it comes to racing, it's almost like reminds me of like Cooper Webb racing Supercross, where it's like he's probably not going to get the top time in practice. He's probably not going to be P1, but then like as soon as the race comes around, like you guys just have the speed. You guys figure out a way to do it, and it's like a night and day difference. When I see you guys on race day, I feel like you guys are just like destroying your tires, destroying your rims, like hitting things so much harder than you guys were hitting it in practice. And it totally like it makes sense. Whereas as soon as you guys get into that like that headspace where you're like your brain is turned off to a certain degree, but you're just literally going for it. I feel like that's the difference right there between some of them. Maybe people get more timid, but you guys definitely rip down some of that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's a great comparison because it's like you got to think like the last 5 minutes of a Supercross race is kind of like day 2 at an Enduro. Like everyone's just trying to sell at home. No one really wants a battle when they can't feel their arms and their hands. Yeah. But it's like if you're a guy like Cooper Webb and you're like a shark, you can go out and make these moves and put pressure on people, and they make mistakes. So it's like, yeah, I think there's a lot of things that cross over, but yeah, the mindset with moto and Supercross and mountain biking is like pretty similar. Like you gotta have a strong mind. So, but yeah, I mean, that's like how many times has someone won a Supercross race without winning a whole shot? It's like they might be 5th or 6th the first lap, but like, hey, there's 20 minutes. There's not one lap, So it's the same with Enduro. There's 7, 8 stages. So yeah.
Well, keep on making it interesting because we fucking love it.
Yeah, I'm right there with him. Ditto.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
No, dude. Nick, dude, thanks for coming on. I know we've been trying to figure this one out, and we kind of fucked it up with snow, announcing stuff too soon, and I know I said I get you on and everything, but it rolled into you getting a win, and now we got you on. So I'm fucking stoked. It'd be cool get you back on here. Maybe not just because of winning a BME or whatever we're at, but we'll get you on and dig into it a little bit more. Maybe we have snow on at the same time and just see you two kind of battle it out a little bit. And then,
yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like after some of the events, after some of the races, like especially when like you have your rig there and we're all together in person, we could even do like, I don't know, like just a podcast with 5 people. We're all in the same spot, just having a good time. Yeah. Like, I think there's a lot of cool things you guys could do with this. So I'm all game for it.
We're trying, we'll get there. Right now I'm just trying to fucking get home. Fuck.
I believe you.
Dude, me too. We left Windrock yesterday at 3 a.m. and we got to my parents in Salt Lake because we had to come here for a bit. We got here this morning.
Holy fuck, you drove?
Yeah, we got here at 5 a.m. I drove through the night. Snow drove till like we switched off, but he took kind of like the till midnight shifts, and I drove from like midnight to like 4 or 5. So
Jeez.
That's why
Yeah,
I'm a little
but they're probably going faster than you, Austin. You do like 60,
And they got
65
multiple
where
drivers. I'm just
Yeah.
rocking it on my own. So
they can pull
I
through
mean,
a
JJ and
drive-through
I
and get more food, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. JJ and I did that a long time ago with the rig, and we started out, it would be like, cool, I'm gonna go for 10 hours, and he'll go for 10 hours. And then it like slowly
It's like-
shortened it up to where it was down to basically like okay,
2
we were
hours.
switching up like every fucking hour.
That's how
And
it
just
felt.
like
It's not. That's
and
exactly how it felt.
yeah, and we fucking got to this truck stop, I don't even know, in fucking Ohio, and I'm just sitting there in the middle of it, just like zoned out enough to where a trucker pulls up to me and he's like, bro, that ain't he's like, bud, that ain't a parking spot, and like honks his horn and yells at us. Like, I'm like, oh shit, fuck.
Yeah. We were
So those days
zombies
are
for
fucking
sure.
done. We're not doing that shit
Yeah.
no more. But I
We've learned our
commend you guys that
lessons.
are fucking doing that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gnarly. And last month we raced in North Carolina and we straight shotted back to San Diego. It's 35 hours.
Oh my god.
What?
And
No way.
It was gnarly. We left at like 2 a.m. and then got to California the next day at like 11 a.m. And
Screw that.
it was I love snow, but this is a funny story. It was like I drove till like the first day I drove, then he drove, then I drove till like dinner. And then at dinner I was like, let's get some coffees, because he was gonna drive till like 1 a.m. And I was like, I'll have a coffee at like 1 a.m. when I get back in the driver's seat. And I slept for like 4 hours. Like, thank God he was good to go. He never woke me up and I could get some sleep. But I got up at like 1 a.m. and I started my shift to drive, and I drove till like 9 a.m. But I get up, both the coffees are gone. And I'm like, Snow, what happened to the coffees? And he's like, I needed it. I was falling asleep, and I was like, well, I need it right now. And he's like,
Oh my god.
yeah. He's like, I didn't think about that. And I was like, dude. So I like no caffeine, just like drove from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. And so it was that was last month. And then this month was a little shorter. It was only like 25 hours or something, but we'll do like the remainder 10 we have tomorrow. So yeah.
It feels good being able to sleep in my own bed. Screw that. I'm flying home, dude. I'm done with that.
Fuck all you
trips,
guys,
dude.
man. I'm not even fucking I'm not even close to scratching fucking home.
Where are you at?
Fuck. Fucking New Mexico. More already. I'm not even to fucking Albuquerque. I'm wrecked. Hey, this big rig takes a lot, okay? All right. Well, thanks, Nick. Go ahead. No, what you got?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, you can't drive that thing like we can drive a van, so you have it gnarlier.
Yeah.
But
I can definitely run over that van with this, but yeah, I cannot do that. Dude, stoked though to get you on, but we gotta have more of it. I'm just piecing it together. JJ finally came in at the end of this podcast, started asking some good questions.
Brother, come on, dude.
I guess I just have to win more to get on the
Nick,
podcast.
There we go.
Dude, no, I need to get more time to fucking do it. But yeah, no, let's have you on some more. Let's do some more shit. And we'll fucking see you in Sunrise.
Sweet. Yeah, later, guys. Thanks for having me. Stoked to do it, and I'll see you guys, next month.
Yes, sir.
Sweet. Later.
Later, buddy.
Make for sure you don't close the browser. Keep the browser open.
And tell Snow that he owes you at least a couple coffees. I'm just saying.
I've made him buy me like 5 since then. I'm like, you owe me, dude. I was like, that is not worth one coffee.
That is worth a lot of coffees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
he really fucked you for sure.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Say what's up to the rest. Later.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. See ya.
You too.
Late. Bam, dude. Now there's 2. Well, we were gonna have Rob on from BME, but am I delayed to you as well right now?
No, your internet is a little fuzzy, but your audio is pretty lined up.
Fuck, I don't know, man. Yeah. So yeah, Rob's having some technical difficulties. I mean, we're both still on the road, so I fucking get it. But yeah, maybe we'll do a later one, get him on here, just talk about it. There's fucking 3 weeks of madness right now, you know. Fuck, what am I? I'm almost on to 4 right now. Am I? No, I'm on 3 right now.
Your schedule ain't ending at all. You've got a bunch more coming up, so
It never ends. But I'm surviving over here. I'm just fucking a little rowboat, just rowing it out. Notables from BME the fucking last 2 weeks of the first rounds. Enduro dudes are fucking gnarly, right? I mean, I think you'd probably agree with that.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. They really are.
It's awesome because I feel like Enduro, the BMEs right now is almost like 90s motocross. Like these
Yeah, it feels
dudes that
super
are
raw.
coming back after
I
the
agree.
races, hitting it. It's super raw. They're just like they're fucking real with you, talking shit. We're all just hanging out in the pits, drinking fucking beers here and there, like after the post race, and it's fucking pretty rad. Like I like that. Like that's sick. Like I'm tired of the knitted up shit. I did the knitted up shit for so many years. So yeah, this is sick, dude. Thank you for fucking coming and helping me with this one and firing off some proper questions there at the end. You had some good insight. Yeah, just heavy. My back is broken over here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Lifting the team, but Sunrise, and that's the next one. I'll see you. Yeah, fuck, dude. I'm hopefully get to fire off a few more in between then and now, and fuck, that's all I got. I don't know, people. Like, thank you. This is episode 9. Spencer will get you back. He's just got these crazy hours he's doing right now, and he's
Mr.
learning how to fight.
Stuntman.
And fuck yeah, he's wild. But well, hopefully he'll tell us some more stories when he gets on. But
hopefully he has more to
just
say about it than we do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the full details every minute, so it's tough. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, listening. Thank you for Nick Nestoroff for coming on, Rochelle Pug. Hopefully I didn't butcher it again. I fuck up on it every time. I suck at names, you guys. My English isn't the best. And thank you all for watching, tuning in. Get this podcast. I mean, I'm glad that I can actually end it, unlike the last one that was just totally fucked. And yeah, get your where you get your podcast. We're live streaming these things on YouTube, just fucking doing it. And yeah, get your podcast on everything. We got it on all. So
like, subscribe, join Patreon.
Subscribe.
Just give us.
I don't have a Patreon. I have nothing.
Well,
I'll fucking
we're gonna need a
I'll take
Patreon
anything
at this point.
I fucking need one at this point. Be safe on the move, JJ. And
yes, sir. I'll see you in a couple of weeks with a bag of In-N-Out. I'll be ready.
Later.
Later, buddy.